Hello, we are back. Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys? We are back with Nancy Guthrie. Yes, we are. There's been quite a few updates since we've last been live. Let me say hello. Make sure you guys are tapping the like button, please, on your way in and while watching the live. I really appreciate it because YouTube, as you know, is trying to censor me since I started to cover the Epstein files. So make sure you do hit that like button, please. So we have been following Nancy Guthrie, and things are just really weird with this case. I don't really know what to make of it. So last time we did a live, we had gotten the footage of the quote unquote subject. And since then, someone has been detained and released, and there's been multiple items found. And it's just a very interesting crime scene slash investigation slash case. So let's talk about it. Let's hang out for a little bit. I saw TWC. Hey, hey. I saw Evie in here. Robert, Old Days, and Debbie Larry. Hi, hi, hi. Hey, Crease. And Joker. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you guys are getting notifications. Let me know. If you are. It is cold out here and it's rainy. So hi Abuelita. So I wanted to just catch up on Nancy Guthrie, and then I think I need a break from Guthrie and Epstein tonight. So I was thinking we could do an old case tonight. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Let's get the updates first, and then we're gonna watch a few clips. So Carlos, you're like, who's Carlos? Carlos is the man that got detained, quote unquote detained, but I think if you read your Miranda rights and after a specific amount of time, it can be an arrest, right? I'm not sure. Is that like state specific? Hey, Adrian, good to see you. Anyways, listen. So they detained a subject, quote unquote subject, and they had the wrong person, I think. Yeah. I just don't really know what to think about what this police department, and there's no press conference. It's You're like, what do you mean they got the wrong person? Well, I think they did because they released him after they damaged his home. And by them I mean, I guess, SWAT, the FBI, I don't know. And he's probably going to sue them now. Um, so it's just this case is out of control. So we're gonna read updates from NBC. They do like hourly updates. So we're gonna go through those, and then we're gonna watch the video of the poor guy Carlos. I don't know, maybe he does have something to do with it. And I just I don't why would they detain him and then let him go? Because if he did have something to do with it, he would know that they're on him and he would flee? Question mark? Question mark? I don't know. Or maybe it's someone connected to him. Allegedly, these are all opinions. These are just thoughts. You form your own opinion. And this information is coming from very public sources. So, and numerous sources. But yeah, so I don't really know. Is this in the Epstein files is just they're literally being shoved in our faces, but not in the way they should be, right? The Epstein, and then it seems like the Epstein files are horrendous, but they're being, ignored, pretty much censored online. But anyways, it's not adding up, this whole thing. And then allegedly today, now there was another Bitcoin request for 1 Bitcoin sent to TMZ. And I just am like, what does TMZ have to do with this? I get it. It's like an international news media, etc. Like channel or news channel, but why do they keep getting ransom letters or emails, and is the family getting anything? And like they've been awfully quiet too, and There's been searches going on, like, I guess they were searching some highway today. We're gonna go through the updates, but please let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat, in the live chat, like, what is going on with this case? Is it a psyop? Is it to distract? Do you even believe it? A lot of people are, on X. I know not everybody loves X, and honestly, I was never a big fan until recently. And a lot of people on there they don't believe it, but I've seen that on YouTube as well. So I've seen it everywhere, but they believe this is like a hoax and et cetera, et cetera. So it's just, I'm kind of starting to feel the type of way about this case. And I know others, friends that I've talked to feel the same way. So I don't know. Hey, Vanjie, good to see you. Oh, thank you. I wasn't feeling it today. Like I was just feeling like the weather is like really crappy here and it's cold. And then both of these things got me messed up. So I was just like, oh, but I did want to come up here and cover it because we have been following it. Didn't the husband work for the Clintons as a sweeper? Yes, she did. You mean Savannah Guthrie's husband? Yes. So let's go through the updates. So this is from 14 hours ago. I think it's been longer than that, but we're going to start here and then we'll watch a couple clips. I want to watch a clip on Megyn Kelly, Ryan Enton, and just kind of get their takes on it. And they always have like professionals on. So I was thinking we could go through those. So this is 14 hours ago. It says who lives at searched property says he was detained and later released. So his name is Carlos. It says a man who lives at the house searched by authorities says he was a person detained for questioning in connection with the disappearance of Nancy and has since been released from custody. Pima County Sheriff's Department declined to comment on reports of the release when asked overnight by NBC News. The man, who identified himself as Carlos, spoke to Telemundo in Spanish outside his house in Rio Rico, the site of law enforcement search last night. Carlos confirmed his house was searched. Oh, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me, I had to sneeze right in the middle of reading that. It says Carlos confirmed his house was searched as per warrant. His front door and his back door was damaged, he said. He added that agents told him he looked like the person they had seen in the security camera footage from the Guthrie's house released by the FBI yesterday. He said that while he was a delivery driver, he doesn't remember if he delivered anything to the Guthrie's house. Authorities said early this morning that the search at the property was over and the investigation was ongoing. Person detained for questioning was detained during traffic stop. So allegedly, yes, he was detained during traffic stop, and they were, I guess, they were surveilling him prior to, I guess, some footage being out too. So I'm not. How did they have the wrong person? I'm like, with the FBI involved and everything. The Pima County Sheriff's Department said last night that deputies detained a person for questioning who identified himself as Carlos. Okay. Um, it is not clear yet how the FBI collected the video from the Guthrie's Google Nest camera. Shortly after Nancy disappeared, the sheriffs said that a camera affixed to a door had been disconnected. We know that. We know that. An internet-connected Google Nest camera captured an unidentified person in masks and glove carrying a backpack and a gun approaching Nancy's house. Investigation into reportedly detained person has been ongoing. The investigation into the person who says he was reportedly detained for questioning and the Guthrie disappearance has been ongoing for a short time. The man who lives at the house searched by authorities says he has since been released from custody. The individual wasn't detained just because somebody picked up the phone and said, oh, I think it's that person. There could have been a number of factors in that person's background and evidence they uncovered that led authorities to believe they wanted to talk to them. I don't know. Why damage the door and everything? And if he was just someone they wanted to question, why detain him like that? Why not just contact him and have him come in for questioning? A little confused. Person seen in released photos and videos appear to have some premeditation, former FBI agent says. The person came there intending to do something very terrible, but didn't quite think it all the way through. They're saying about the intruder, the kidnapper, the alleged kidnapper. Man who says he was detained for questioning tells reporters it was terrifying and like being kidnapped. Carlos says he was detained for questioning as part of investigation into Nancy's disappearance and told reporters that he was terrified by the ordeal. We're going to watch that clip in a second. Um, and then, the Pima County Sheriff's Department has just been posting on their account, no press conference, no update from us. Every single day, like every couple hours. Has not confirmed the release of the identity. Okay, but we know he's out. Brian Enton actually got an interview with his family member. We're gonna watch that. It's out of control. It's really quite out of control. Okay, we already kind of know the timeline. If you don't, we might go through a thorough one later. No news conference planned for today. See, they said that about 12 hours ago. We have seen the footage of the kidnapper. FBI released photos and videos. Yes, yes. There's a search warrant also that has been it's out. I don't have my hands on it yet, but somebody read it online and the search warrant said something about what day did she go missing? Was that um yeah, it was the first. So I believe the search warrant said something about the 6th. So I'm wondering if they had the footage prior to us finding out, of course. FBI said the tips increased dramatically after release of photos and videos. Okay, got that. Where's Nancy? Yeah, we would like to know that too. FBI Phoenix conducting a search in the Catalina Foothills in the Guthrie investigation. It says the FBI office in Phoenix said in an update that the agents are conducting an extensive search along multiple roadways related to the Nancy investigation. So they think she's like in a roadway? He's a FedEx and DoorDash driver. His phone pinged the tower the day of the disappearance. Yeah, but like he didn't even remember. I wonder if he did deliver to Nancy. He says he didn't. I feel like I believe him because why would he, maybe he doesn't remember? Hi Debbie. I don't know. It's very odd. Pima County Sheriff's Department says there's no interviews scheduled at this time. There are no press briefings. That was 7 hours ago, scheduled at this time. Should a significant development occur? Got it. Authorities confirm that the person who detained has been released. Officials said the detention was a follow-up on incoming leads. The man has not been charged. So why like break his door and go there like he had 5 warrants out for his arrest? Uh, I'm a little confused if they were just gonna question him. Then the media is out there, you know how it is. An FBI investigator searching a culvert near the home of Guthrie's daughter, Annie. Wait, is that man like reading a map or a piece of paper with the flashlight? What the heck? Wow, they really are looking everywhere. Hey, Ramon, good to see you. Thank you. They're searching the side of the road for evidence, I guess, since that glove was found. Yeah, there was a glove found. I think it's coming up on this timeline. There was a glove found, and then apparently, and I don't know this part is true. It's all hearsay. Somebody said that there was a ski mask found in someone's like driveway or side of the road. A neighbor like reported it or something. I don't know if that's actually true, so we'll see it on here. If not, in probably one of the videos. But why they think Nancy's down here or evidence? I don't really even know what a culvert is, to be exact. Law enforcement officials blocked the entrance to a road where a home was being searched in connection with the investigation. They arrested Carlos 60 miles from Tucson. They have it says it's fielded more than 4,000 tips. Well, that's nice. Guthrie's neighbors rallied to show their support for family. The mask was found in an alley. It was in an alley? I thought it was like on the side of the road or something. That's interesting that I didn't post that on here. Let's go watch the clip about Carlos and then we'll go on to the glove and the mask. Oh, Carlos. He's been all over, like, of course, social media and stuff now because of what's been going on with him.
Straight to a Fox News alert overnight, police releasing a man after detaining and questioning him in connection with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
And just a few hours ago, local and federal officials wrapping up a court-ordered search at a home in Rio Rico, Arizona. That's about an hour away from Nancy Guthrie's house in Tucson and about 15 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border.
This all comes after the FBI released home security video of an armed and masked man approaching Guthrie's home the night she was abducted 11 days ago. You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Wednesday morning. I'm 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆.
And I'm Todd Pyro. Let's go right to Matt Finn, live in Rio Rico. And he has a new interview with the man who was just released by investigators, heard for the very first time on Fox. Matt.
Good morning, guys. Not only is it quiet here right now, it's pitch black. There was a search here earlier tonight. There were investigators, the blue and red lights, police tape up, what appeared to be, a very controlled, intent search. And then all of a sudden, investigators left, and we spoke to a man who identified himself as Carlos. He told us that he was the man who was detained for questioning in a traffic stop in relation to the Nancy Guthrie case. He says he is a free man and has nothing to do with Nancy's disappearance. Here is our interaction with Carlos.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where was I and all that, but
Are you ever up in Tucson?
yeah, I went to Tucson.
You know what? This footage isn't very good of him. Let me pull up a better one. I didn't realize that. My bad. My apologies.
I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. And I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on national news now.
Not just them. Even my parents in Tucson.
Right.
Yeah.
And your mother?
I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. And I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on national news now.
Not just them. Even my parents in Tucson.
That wasn't the full interview. Let me pull up a better version of that because you know what? We could watch. His mother-in-law gave an interview to Brian Enton. Here we go.
Right.
Carlos Palazuelos.
Okay. And you were apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
And investigators showed up to this house, or were you the one who was pulled over in the traffic stop?
I was the one that was pulled over at the traffic stop.
Where was that?
Right here on by Chubasco.
Okay. And you were taken into custody at that point?
Yeah.
And you were
I was being detained.
Detained. Okay.
I was detained the whole time.
Okay.
That's
where?
what they told me.
Where were they
At
holding
the
you?
back of a car.
Back of a
Miranda car, and then they moved me into a Pima County sheriff.
Were you being questioned in the car?
At the Miranda car, I was being questioned, but they only asked me for my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and my social.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I, and all that. But
are you ever up in Tucson?
Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Jeez. How do you think they connected that case to you?
Go ask them, bro.
Okay. So
that's something you gotta ask them. I can't answer that question.
Did they take anything from your house tonight?
No, I don't know. All I can say is they took my phone.
Took your phone.
Right.
You don't have your phone right now. Okay. What else? What else happened?
That's it. That's all I can say. Like I said, I'm done with the questions, bro. Can you just let us?
Yes, absolutely.
¿Se llevaron tu teléfono?
Sí, se lo llevaron. Y no me lo van a regresar.
Dude, spell your last name for us.
He's like, they're not giving it back.
What's your date of birth?
01/20/1990.
Okay, thanks, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Oye, te dijeron que te parecías a la persona.
Wait, wouldn't they have to give it back at some point? He said they're not giving it back. Maybe right now. That's crazy. That's actually really crazy. Again, why detain him like that? And then I wonder, did he really just make that mistake? They did. I kind of believe him. Yeah. Hey, Green-Eyed. Bless his heart. I believe him. I believe him too. Let's watch the interview with his mother-in-law. This is just insane. Actually, let's watch this again.
And then released. I've been covering this story for just about a week now. The last 24 hours certainly have been the most eventful. We've had the most updates, which certainly is good news because it had been days without any real concrete information. We're going to kind of start at the beginning and show you that surveillance footage from this doorbell camera that was released by the FBI. It's been all over social media, including the Arizona's Family News app, but it shows a masked, armed person walking up to Nancy's door the morning she went missing. Just really chilling video. Investigators do believe this person is connected to the 84-year-old's disappearance. If this person looks familiar, you are asked to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you have information or if you recognize this person, there is still a $50,000 reward being offered if you can help them get to Nancy and help them find her. Now, let's talk about what happened while you were sleeping, because there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department, they did conduct a search at a home in Rio Rico. Again, as Colton and Simone mentioned, this is about an hour south of where we are this morning in Tucson. A person was detained in connection to the case during a traffic stop. Now, a man named Carlos told reporters overnight he was held and then released. He says he's a delivery driver and that he did not know who Nancy or Savannah Guthrie are. Savannah, of course, is the daughter of Nancy and host of NBC's Today show. Carlos says they searched his car, but then gave it back to him. So again, we're trying to get some confirmation from PCSD on whether or not they have a person of interest in custody right now. I sent them an email overnight early this morning. So coming up in just about 30 minutes here on Good Morning Arizona, we're going to play you part of his interview, and then we're also going to tell you what's going on with the cryptocurrency wallet that's tied to the person who may have abducted Nancy. So the real takeaway here is no suspect has been identified at this point. Investigators are hoping that the surveillance
yeah, a lot has happened. I don't know. This case is really just making me feel really uncomfortable because nothing makes sense. And so how do people know that she's still alive? And how are they not able to figure this out? And why, if they're investigating, why would they go back many times to Annie Guthrie's house too? You know, like, but then they have made no arrest other than detaining Carlos. And you know, I would definitely get a lawyer if I was Carlos. So I hope he's getting on that, because they just detain him because of his eyes. I mean, they have to have more information, right? Or more reasons why they detained him that we just probably don't know about. So let's watch this. Ryan Enton interviewed the mother-in-law. And it's pretty intense.
Appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. What an insane couple of hours it has been. I am now in Rio Rico, Arizona, which is about an hour from, maybe a little more than an hour from Tucson, very close to the border, very close to the Mexico border. And behind me, they've got this road closed because this is where they brought a man into custody, detained a man who they believe may know something or be connected to the Nancy Guthrie case. This is just a quiet area along the highway. His house, the subject's house, is behind this crime scene tape. And I am told, and I'm going to get in a second here to an interview I did with this subject's mother-in-law, but she told me that he was with his wife and they were doing DoorDash close by when he was pulled over and taken into custody for questioning connected to the Nancy Guthrie case. This mother-in-law who owns the house where the search warrant is happening right now insists that they know nothing about Nancy Guthrie. She is defending her son-in-law. She told me that he was home last Saturday and Sunday and that there's no way he was in Tucson. And she says that he doesn't know anything about Bitcoin. She basically denied everything. And you're going to hear her interview in a second. But I just want to show you guys. It took me, I raced down here because I had a source tell me, get to Rio Rico. That's where they made the, that's where they brought the guy into custody. And so I got down here. I saw the flashing lights right off the highway. And the house, again, is right down here. And my source is also telling me that they have not located Nancy Guthrie. Which kind of goes without saying, but you know, there was a lot of just sort of excitement initially, like could this be leading to, you know, finding Nancy Guthrie quickly? And it sounds like that's not the case. They have not located Nancy Guthrie, but there's a lot going on here. I want to play for you. I'm going to get to my retired FBI agent friend who is going to help me break down everything that I witnessed tonight. But I first want to get to the mother-in-law of the subject who is being questioned right now, and I want you to hear everything that she told me out here.
Either I don't know else what it's Carlos Palazuelo. That has nothing to do with it either. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, they're just invading my property. I told them they're going in and out of my house, taking a lot of pictures and everything. I mean, like I told them, we're not hiding anything. I give them permission. You can go and search. There's nothing in my house. You won't find anything because we don't have nothing to hide.
Is this your son's vehicle?
The one that was on the side of that's my daughter's vehicle.
So what is your son's name?
My daughter.
Your daughter?
Yeah, that's
so do you live in? It's her husband. So it's your son-in-law.
Yeah, my son.
Took away.
Yeah. Carlos Palazuelos. Yeah, he has nothing to do with that either.
Did he ever say anything about Nancy Guthrie?
Nothing. We never. Like I told the FBI, the investigator, if I knew anything about her, I said I saw her on Facebook, but I didn't read what was going on with her because I don't know her, and I don't have the right to. I mean, if I don't know anybody, I won't read the story. I just keep on going on the phone, because I don't know her.
So how did this all happen?
I don't know.
Were you home when this thing?
No, I was I was coming from Tucson when they had my son outside.
She really was like, I stay minding my business.
The house. They broke in my house without a warrant or nothing. They broke my door.
Oh my goodness.
They went inside my house. My son was playing on Nintendo. He had his headphones on. They got him and put him in that cuff and took him outside. And then they asked him what's going on. There isn't anything. Do you have a search warrant? They said they didn't have any search warrant by then. And they still ask him, do you still have a search warrant? And they don't give me an answer.
Does your son-in-law ever go to Tucson?
He works in Tucson.
What does he do?
He's a delivery guy. He does FedEx or something like that.
Okay.
That's what he works on.
And so you're not allowed to go home right now?
No, they wanted us in. They keep on going in and out of my house, taking pictures. And I don't know why. I mean,
your son was the one that was detained.
Yeah, he was detained for. They showed me a video to see if it was him. To see if he. Yeah, he's my son-in-law. Okay. If I recognize the thing he was wearing, he doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have anything that comes on the video.
Was it surveillance footage?
From the house, I think. Yeah, they showed me that picture.
What surveillance video did they show you?
One outside of
from
the lady.
Nancy's house.
Yeah,
Does that look like him?
No, it doesn't look like him. No, not at all.
Has he ever been in trouble?
No. Well, he was when he was underage.
Okay, but nothing serious. Anything serious?
No, nothing serious.
How old is he?
¿Cuándo es el Carlos?
36.
36, yeah.
So are they waiting on a search warrant now?
I don't know. I've been asking for the search warrant.
Wow.
They haven't said anything. They can't tell me nothing. They don't say anything. I mean, I know that it's been going on in all the news, but what can I do?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do. That's why I came to talk to you to let everybody know that there's nothing had to do with my house. I don't know
Is this your daughter?
She's my daughter-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah, so I believe Carlos was driving and he was pulled over. And then I believe her other son was in the room playing Nintendo. And I guess they like yanked him outside when they went in and broke the door allegedly and searched her house.
The tip came from up there, Tucson or Maran, I don't know, who told, they gave my address. But really, I told him, you can go to my house. It's a small house. I have nothing to hide in my house. There's nothing to find there. I mean,
was he stopped in his car? Do you know?
And my daughters, they were doing DoorDash.
Yeah, I don't know what the laws are on like search warrants, but I believe they did essentially have one. Now, I think I've only seen one channel have the search warrant. I haven't got it myself yet, but I think there's discrepancies in it too. So I don't know, but it sounds like Carlos might have some kind of lawsuit on his hands.
They're doing DoorDash.
Yeah, with their kids on the car.
And what happened?
They just detained them here at the besides the frontage road here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they just let my daughter go with my grandkids.
They were together doing DoorDash, and they got stuck pulled over.
By a Marana couple.
And your daughter called you. Is that how you found out?
Who called me? No, the lady, one of the workers told her that I had my daughter detained over there with his husband and the kids.
Is your daughter detained also?
No, she left go with the kids already.
Okay. Wow. What did she say about it?
Well, it's nothing to say. I haven't talked to her. They haven't let me even go to see what's wrong. They took my phone away. They took her phone.
They took your phone?
The kid's phone, her phone, his phone, my phone, my husband's phone, everybody's phone. So I have non-communication with them. So no. I don't know what else.
What time did they arrive?
Whoa.
Like I came here.
So they must have had a search warrant to take all of their phones?
Home like 5.
Wow.
5 p.m. Yeah.
And what's your address, ma'am?
It's 425 Camino Oso. Yeah.
And how many people were in the house?
Just my son.
Okay.
Just my son.
Have they interviewed you?
Well, the detective just talked to me and asked me a question about my son-in-law. And I told the truth. He doesn't wear the clothes that you showed me in the video. He has nothing to do with that kind of clothes. He works in Tucson. He stays with his mom.
What about the eye? Did you look at the eyebrows in the video?
Yeah, that's not him. Yeah, that's not him. I know that's not him.
The mouth?
Yeah, that's not him. That's not. I told him I can show you a picture of him right now.
Yeah.
But they took the phone away from me, so I don't have no way to show him pictures of him. I don't know. Yeah.
So that was Josefina, who is, again, the mother-in-law.
Guys, you know what I was thinking too? You know how we didn't hear about the footage from the house for a while, right? I was thinking that maybe because Nest probably didn't want that information out. Not necessarily to anything against the case. I think they wanted to help and participate, you know, in a legal to a legal extent in the investigation. But I was thinking like Nest probably didn't want that information out because it means that they are backing up your surveillance footage without a subscription. Because if you think about it, Nancy didn't have a subscription, right? And they were able to pull some of that footage. So they probably didn't want that information out. Nest. I don't know, just something I was thinking about. Let's watch, so that was from 18 hours ago. We're gonna watch the Brian Entin episode that just dropped like an hour ago. We were not gonna watch all of it, but I do want to see what he has to say about a few things from today.
Outside the house with latex gloves on, and they were holding a brown bag. They were not in the house for long, and then they
good luck filling a tort claim. Yeah, door damage can be expensive. I think there's more to it, not to give the family's phone back, not saying he's guilty, but I think there's going on more than just eyes or a phone ping. I agree, true crime type of mind. I think there's a lot going on. They took her phone. They took everybody's phone. Her husband's, her daughters, both of her sons. So now you know that Nest, if you have Nest, you know that you don't have to pay for a subscription. If one day they need your emergency footage, they'll have it, most likely. I don't have Nest, so. But that's very interesting.
Also went and got mail out of the mailbox, again, wearing the gloves, and then they left. So it was not like what we saw on Saturday night where they were there for 3 hours and we saw pictures being taken inside. That wasn't the case. It was quick. They went in, they had gloves on, they came out with a brown bag. And
I don't know why it's such a big deal that they were getting the mail with gloves. Like it's a crime. Well, I don't know that it's a crime scene because there's no crime scene tape or anything, but of course they're checking the mail. They've been getting ransom notes.
And they also checked the mail. So that is the latest development that happened at Annie's house. The FBI today is reporting that they are going to be doing ground searches along roadways.
Isn't that illegal? I think to some extent, yes, Creed. That's why I was mentioning it. I'm like, you know, Green Eye says, I bet net sales go through the roof, or maybe not, because now people know that they don't have to pay that monthly subscription unless, you know, you want it for sure, but they probably will go through the roof though. I don't know to what extent if it's illegal to keep your footage without your consent or knowing of it. It's that small print too.
In the Catalina Foothills around where Nancy and Annie live. And when I was out at Annie's house yesterday and I saw the FBI going door to door, they asked one of the neighbors for permission to search. And then the neighbor said, well, what are you looking for? And they said something that may have been dropped, which makes me think when you look back at those pictures of the suspect, what he was wearing, the mask, the backpack, the gloves, all of that, are they looking to see if something was maybe thrown out of a car window? Because we know today the search is specific.
I just feel like it's so staged. I know it's not, but I just feel that it gives that to me. Like, oh, look, today, you know, they're searching and oh, look, right on the side of the road, we find a glove. And this has been going on for like 10 days. So I'm just like, oh, now there's a glove right there on the side of the road. Like, hello, notice me. And then it feels very off to me, this case.
Specifically directed along roadways. So that's the latest from the FBI. Pima County Sheriff's Office says that there will be no updates today, no briefings unless there's a development, which kind of surprised me in light of what happened last night. You guys remember they had that person detained who has since been let go. I raced out an hour away from Tucson, very, very close to the Mexico border. I went like, I shouldn't say this, but I was going like 100 miles an hour trying to get there when I got the tip that they had this person detained. There was a federal search warrant that was being executed at the house. The family members of the guy were like, there's no way he's involved in 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗵𝗶. We don't know about the case. He wasn't out of town last weekend. He doesn't know anything about Bitcoin. And I talked to them, and come to find out a few hours later, he was released. He was detained and then released, and it appears he has nothing to do with the case, although we'll have to see. I mean, they must have had something in that search warrant to be able to go search the house and detain him. So I'll stay on top of that, try to figure out how all of that sorts out today. But again, I was hoping there'd be some kind of press briefing from the sheriff, and that doesn't appear like it's going to happen. I want to go to 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆, who is was a longtime homicide detective here in Pima County, to help me break down these latest developments, especially what happened last night with this man being detained, and sort of what he thinks about where things are going to go from here. What do you make of what happened last night? I mean, we raced down to, near the Mexico border. They had him detained, and then now he walked out. What do you think happened there?
I don't know what leads specifically led them, to that individual. Extremely grateful for the technology that, the FBI has to recover some video, and I'm hoping that they have other video that they're holding back. But yeah, it was a complete surprise to me. I saw the detention last night. I went to bed and woke up this morning and praying, that it was the suspect, and then, that individual was released. So what, often happens in homicide investigations, you have to follow leads as they come in. Earlier in our other interview, I spoke about you have to start working that circle outwards, right? And I mentioned Uber drivers, delivery drivers. So I'm guessing that's what that individual was. I listened to his interview. He may or may not have delivered a package in that area. So it's good to see that.
Okay, but if they wanted information on just delivering a package, why arrest him? Why not send him or go to his house and talk to him and say, or call him in? Like they didn't have to arrest him like they did. I don't know. Like I said at the beginning, I know detaining and arresting is differently, essentially, but after they redo your Miranda rights and for a certain amount of time, right, it becomes an arrest. That sounded like an arrest to me. Now, was he sitting in a cell? I don't know. Hey Jay, yeah, Jay, I agree with you. Good to see you. He should sue. I think so too. At least try. And the cops just wanted to say, look, we're doing something.
We're following up on the investigation.
I'm not very impressed.
And with a situation like this, you know that the bad guy was armed because you saw it on the camera. So we, and law enforcement, we formally, but they have to take precautions. So it didn't surprise me the amount of individuals and the type of units that they use for this detention. But that's what happens. Leads are going to pan out and they're not going to pan out. So you have to suss everyone out.
In your experience, they did a search warrant at the house. They had him detained. They got him at a traffic stop. They took him back to headquarters. Would that have indicated that they thought they had something significant? I mean, you don't just do that to every other Uber driver, right?
Yeah, no, you're not just gonna, detain somebody and, transport them back somewhere. But again, they were following up on a lead, and I think we can extrapolate from, what's been going on that he was a delivery driver. He may or may not have been in that area. I'm assuming he probably was. They're just not, I used to tell bad guys this all the time. Look, I didn't just pick your name out of a phone book randomly, right? So he was a delivery driver, was in the neighborhood, and they were following up on the lead on a potentially armed and dangerous individual.
What's your sense on where things stand now? Because I don't know, one of my buddies in the FBI was saying we don't ever, and he's not involved in this case, but he was saying we don't like to release photos. Like if the FBI is releasing photos, it means that they actually need help.
Yeah. It's the same way with the sheriff's department. If we're tracking, a suspect.
Yeah, I think they actually do need help at this point. 11 days, 4 ransom notes, 1 imposter. one alleged glove, one alleged ski mask. Where's Nancy? I don't knock me if this is true or not, but allegedly, word on the street is that the kidnappers took her medications with her. I know at first they were saying they didn't, but I heard that from an unverified source. So maybe Nancy is still alive, question mark. I wonder what led the police to him. He says he doesn't remember delivering to Nancy's, but maybe that's why they were onto him. I feel awful for Carlos and his family. Yeah, I know. Yes, his wife and his kids were in the car with him. They went to the house in full force like it was going to be a rescue. Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning of the live. I said they went there like there was multiple warrants out for Carlos's arrest. Like they broke, I believe, the front door and maybe the back door. I think it was just the front door, actually. I pray she is. Yeah. I don't know.
You can look at it either way, right? You can put, if you have a suspect and you have a photograph, you're more than likely going to have eyes on that individual, meaning you're going to be surveilling him. And a lot of times they'll release something in the media to garner an action out of the individual that they're looking for. Whether or not that was the case last night, I'm not sure. But, you know, that's what it is.
Do you think, because he was pulled over not far from where he lived,
okay.
I found out when I was out there, do you think that means that he was under surveillance? Like, would you think they had eyes on him before this and then something happened where they decided, let's get him?
I'm assuming so, yes. Because just because you have a named individual that you're looking into, and again, you know, this person at that time was an investigative lead. So you can't just out of the blue decide to go drive somewhere and hope that the individual is going to be where you think they're going to be. So I would assume that they had some type of surveillance. I understand the FBI brought in a bunch more people yesterday or the day before. You know, maybe it was FBI information that they were acting on, contacted the sheriff's department, said, hey, you know, let's roll. I don't know if that's what the case was, but it possibly could be.
Do you think that there could be other people under surveillance right now? What does your gut tell you?
I would hope so, but that's, you know, just my guess. Like, everybody has theories about what's going on, and theories are like, you know, everyone has one. So your theory is as good as mine, and I'm just hoping that, you know, I'm hoping they have information that they haven't released yet that they're utilizing to further the investigation, whether it's surveillance, whether it's like yesterday walking around, you know, picking up or doing an article search. That's what they were doing. They were looking for an article of something.
Yeah, I agree. Y'all are saying that someone reported a white truck leaving the scene. How many people drive white trucks, right? Especially like landscapers and stuff. In Arizona, there are so many white trucks because of the heat. They have to have more, right? Because the eyes in the truck is not, I guess it's legit, but to an extent only, right?
The kidnapper had discarded, so.
We were told last night out there that the sheriff had been there. He was gone by the time we got there.
Been
to the place where they Rio Rico, okay. Rio Rico. Is that significant? I mean,
no, and I'm sorry that I laughed, but when you're a detective working a case or you're an officer working a case, the last thing that you want is to have the sheriff show up. At any case, and especially a homicide, because media is always involved, and we're trying to conduct an investigation that is done by the book, step by step. And when you have the sheriff, you know, come out there, that causes a lot of duress on the detectives, you know, and officers and deputies that are investigating. So I think it's a little bit weird, but, you know, he's the sheriff. He can, you know, show up wherever he wants.
The search that we saw yesterday near Annie's house, like all the FBI agents going in the yards, and then they just put out another release, the FBI did, that they're going to be searching along roadways in this area. What does that indicate? Or does it indicate anything?
That's what they're doing an article search. So what they're trying to prove or disprove, confirm or disprove, is that the individual may have discarded a pair of gloves as they're driving away, right? You can picture someone driving away and discarding clothing. I mean, that individual looked like to me, it looked like he had a couple of jackets on. It definitely appeared that he had more than one pair of latex gloves, which leads me to believe that he was extremely careful in concealing his DNA. So what they're doing with the article search is walking up and down the roadway, probably, 50 feet on either side of the roadway, just to see if there's anything in there. What struck me was that they were doing it back in Nancy, and
they took Carlos's DNA, of course, fingerprints and stuff. So do they have some potential prints or something, evidence to match it up to Carlos's or someone's prints DNA? If you took their DNA, sounds like you arrested them.
Or Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood. It was like right after the video came out, then next thing you know, there's 25, 50 law enforcement officials doing an article search. So I was curious what prompted that.
It may be not a coincidence.
It might not be. But again, I had mentioned the brother-in-law before. Again, it's that inner circle. You have to prove or disprove. And as the sheriff said, the last press conference nearly a week ago, everybody is a suspect. So I don't know. I don't know if they had any information to cause them to go back there.
Are you surprised we haven't seen the sheriff in
I'm surprised that
there was
I'm surprised there was not a press conference last night or this morning by the sheriff, because he said on Facebook or on the sheriff's webpage, if there are any significant activities, or we're not going to have a press conference so there's significant activity. Well, I think last night was a significant amount of activity.
I think it was too. They should have had a press conference and gave an explanation maybe as to why they detained Carlos.
Do you think that's an indication the FBI is in control?
Whether or not they're in control, I don't know. Is it an indicator of them being in control? You could say yes, but you could also say no, because realistically, that this is not an FBI case. We don't have any proof that this alleged kidnapping crossed state lines, which would, in fact, turn it into a federal case. So as far as I know right now, the sheriff's department is running the investigation, but those three letters do hold some weight. So it's possible.
In your experience working cases, I mean, we're 11 days in. What does that mean? I mean, what does this window mean? Does it get more difficult? Is it not a good sign that it's been really almost 2 weeks now?
Yeah. Well, I was having a conversation yesterday about this very thing. As the days progress, you're going to run out of leads unless stuff keeps coming in. So with the release of that video, obviously it's going to generate leads for, the next couple of days. And if they release something else, even further out. But absent any new leads, look, the sheriff's department, we have a county that's bigger than, 3 or 4 states. You can't keep everybody focused on that investigation. So initially it was a lot of individuals involved from different units within the sheriff's department, different detective units, patrol units, a lot of people working overtime, but you can't do that in perpetuity. You have to shrink the amount of manpower, and that's going to be based on the amount of leads.
I'm looking in the background as current updates, and as of 1 hour ago, someone posted on X, law enforcement is working on an official description of the mask figured caption on Nancy's camera. How does someone come up with a sketch of someone in the mask? And then another post says, the man detained last night, Carlos, was taken into custody based on cell phone usage and traffic analysis.
So once that manpower gets, keeps shrinking, and it's basically down to just the homicide unit, that's when cases go cold.
Well, maybe with the FBI sending more people in, that'll help
maybe
sort of alleviate that.
Maybe. But again, it's not their case. It's not their investigation yet. They can't just come in like the movies and, take over a case. They have to have jurisdiction. And as far as I know right now, they don't have any jurisdiction. I'm extremely grateful, and I'm sure the family is as well, and all of America, that the FBI is assisting with the technological aspects, because they're able to do things that we can't even fathom. So I hope that they're continuing with the videos. I would like to see more video. If they have a clearer picture, you know, put it out, because that's going to generate leads. Because once the leads stop coming in, the task force is going to shrink and the case is going to go cold. So by releasing more information is the only way to keep the case going.
And just lastly, 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗃 said last night that they have, he used plural, like multiple people that they're looking at, which I guess would go back to what you said, that there's probably different avenues.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, you start in that inner circle. You start with the family, you start with any caregivers. Did they have any work done on the house? You know, the Uber driver, how many Uber drivers? So there's a lot of people that they can interview. I think they've done a pretty good job of canvassing the neighborhoods. If someone in the neighborhood would have seen something, I'm sure by now, you know, they would have said something.
And one other thing I thought of, a lot of people have been asking me, they're like, are people scared in Tucson? Are people in the neighborhood scared? And it's been my kind of feeling that they're not, which is kind of interesting.
I don't think anybody's scared, you know, up here. This is not something that occurs all the time. You know, I don't think that there's any concern for the general public based on this one individual case. It appears that it's isolated. The idiot that was at the door walking up, I mean, he looked like a buffoon. I know previously, you know, I said, this is a, you know, I think a professional deal, and it still may be, but that individual that walked up to the door and tried to cover the camera, he was completely unprepared, but he was extremely comfortable.
Yeah, that is actually very true. He was extremely comfortable. He didn't seem nervous.
Looking around, you know, he was extremely comfortable being there, almost like he knew that there was nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's a good point. He wasn't darting around and looking behind a million times to see if anyone was driving by.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a normal home invasion where, you know, guys, you know, multiple individuals are coming to a door with guns and, you know, kicking doors and battering rams or hammers or pry bars. He didn't have anything. What I would like to know is how he got inside the house. That's a huge key, huge question for me.
Anything else, Allison?
No, I mean, I'm just wanted to say, did you, from what you have been hearing, have you heard anything that last night's operation was mostly conducted by the FBI?
Yeah, I did hear some information from some contacts that I have that last night, you know, was an FBI garnered the information and set the movement into action, and utilizing the Sheriff's Department SWAT team and, you know, other agencies to help track that guy down. So again, not that the FBI has control, but, you know, if they come up with something, because they're working the technical aspect of it, they may have information and it's actionable and it needs to be worked on right now. So they may have said, hey, this is what we got, let's go. And they mounted up the troops and rolled out.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. I really, really appreciate Kurt for talking with me. I actually hear a helicopter right now, which is a basically the sheriff's office helicopter has been in this area a lot, searching. It's so sunny out today, by the way, and hot today. So it's tough.
So let's there's a post on X. It says ski mask that was found earlier, and allegedly there's a 911 call now, or the call where I don't know if it was directly to 911 or non-emergency. Somebody called it in, but again, take this with a grain of salt. We don't know how accurate it is, or law enforcement hasn't verified it. Or
NBC 100 East 1st Avenue. Caller said she found a ski mask on the ground in the alley near her garage. Looks like the same mask the assailant was wearing in the Nancy Guthrie case.
All of a sudden they found a mask. I don't know, guys.
Tough conditions for these search crews out here in the desert, and there's a lot of them now. Again, I told you more FBI agents have been showing up. I also met up with Rick Castigar. He is the former undersheriff here in Pima County. He was there for 40 plus years working for the Pima County Sheriff's Office. And he has been a great resource because he knows the area very, very well. He knows the landscape very, very well. And he has some interesting theories about why he believes Nancy Guthrie is still alive. He took me on a drive around this area near Nancy's house. So I wanted to, I think he's got a lot of good insight, so I wanted to introduce you guys to him.
Interestingly, Savannah began here in her career working for KVOA, the NBC affiliate here, and she was a, fresh out of college. She's an attorney as well. She went to the U of A here. And when she cut her teeth in Tucson, and she and I interacted dozens of times on stories that were going on involving the sheriff's department.
So you know Savannah.
Oh, sure.
So that must make this even more.
It makes it. I was so happy for her making it big, local kid makes it big. It was really nice to see that. Delighted for her. She's such a sweetheart and a good-hearted person, caring, deferential, compassionate in what she does. Just a neat lady. So one of the things I see or saw that happened was this sheriff's department, which has talented people, but it's my opinion that once they knew that this was not an individual who walked away and might have succumbed to the desert, once they knew this was an abduction or a kidnapping, the federal entity should have been called in. And it's my opinion that the FBI should be charged with this investigation, and this sheriff's department should subordinate itself to the FBI. Now, the local elements are clearly an aspect that are needed, and the sheriff's department has that capability to provide that. But we don't have forensics like the FBI has. We don't have those who can look at personality types that might commit this kind of crime. And it should have been recognized initially that once this is labeled an abduction, get a task force together and bring on the FBI and ask them to take it over.
Why do you think that didn't happen?
Unfortunately, the sheriff, Chris Nanos, has an exorbitant ego. And he, in one case I can think of prior to this one, told the FBI he's the better investigator and he doesn't need their help. And that was a critical case that we needed their help with. This one in particular, they have far more resources than the sheriff's department has. This county was established in 1865. It's a big county, and law enforcement has been an element to it for decades and decades. And it has a lot of experienced people and talented people, but not the resources that the federal agencies have. So it's apparent that perhaps Nancy was abducted. It's apparent that she was likely injured in the process. It's apparent that somebody did it for a reason. We don't know. There seems to be the thought that there's money involved in Bitcoin. And, I'm sitting back in my experiences of 46 years in law enforcement asking, well, why is it $6 million? Why isn't it $3 million or $10 million?
Yeah.
And why is it labeled US dollars? What does that tell me? And I'm asking myself, where are they keeping, Nancy? The logistics involved in keeping the person safe, if in fact you want to turn that person over safe to get money, is complicated.
Do you think though that the ransom element could just be wrong? I mean, that they're moving on from that? Are you hearing anything? Because it seems like, based on Savannah's last video and some of the messaging from the FBI and the sheriff's office last night, that they may be following other leads now, something totally different.
Well, certainly, and they've gone back to the scene.
So I'm confused. So then what happened? So then the kidnappers are like, oh, never mind. We don't want the Bitcoin. We'll leave her alive. We're going to continue to hold her until like what exactly? And how do they know she's still alive? Let's remember they made a request for 6 million Bitcoin, but allegedly today they made another request to TMZ. And I just don't get why TMZ. So let's watch that clip really quick. You can catch the rest of that interview on Brian Enton's channel.
TMZ has received another email from somebody demanding money. This is somebody who says they have been trying to get in touch with Savannah Guthrie's sister, Annie, and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they are now saying that they have information about who the kidnapper is. And
so they can't trace the email. They can't trace the Bitcoin. They're emailing saying that the family's not participating in the request. So they send it to TMZ.
They are demanding.
Is this hot salsa I see on the back of the desk? That's very funny.
Money. They want 1 Bitcoin, which is around $55,000, $56,000, you know, depending on the hour. They are saying at the end, time is more than relevant. So they have a Bitcoin address, which we have verified is real, and that they want 1 Bitcoin deposited. So in return for giving information about the identity of the kidnapper. Now, again, this is not somebody who says they've kidnapped Nancy. It's somebody who says they know who has. We have no idea if this is authentic. We have forwarded it on to the FBI, and they are looking at it. And we got this early Wednesday morning. Beyond that, we have already told you that there has now been activity in this Bitcoin account that was included in the first ransom note that we received. We are not saying what kind of activity, how much money. I know there is another story out there about that. We are not going to comment on that. We gave our word to people and involved in this case. We are going to honor that, but only to say that there is activity, and that means something.
If there's activity, couldn't they trace that? I saw your comment, Kate, regarding Nest footage. You actually get an X amount of minutes of motion alert video without a subscription. Only thing the subscription gets you is unlimited. Oh, okay. That's not what you want to hear. Yeah, I don't. That's an unreasonable amount rather than 6 million. They want 1 Bitcoin. That's, I believe, $66,000, correct?
A couple of other points. There has been a lot of talk on social media about who may be behind this kidnapping.
So basically, there's another ransom note. Is this from a different person? I'm kind of lost too. Because this seems like someone's giving information. They want 1 Bitcoin for exchange of information. I don't know too much about Bitcoin, but
I'm just going to kind of put this on the table. That
confusing.
There have been people pointing to various people in the family. You know, when we do this, when we talk, you know, on television, on our website, on our, you know, digitally, on our social media, I think we should be addressing people on social media and not just people who are watching traditional media, because social media is where a lot of people get their information. And I know this is swirling on social media. So I just want to say this, that we do not have any information, that would implicate family members. I am not saying that it's true that somebody may be involved or not true, but I am telling you that we have spoken with numerous people. We are not hearing anything about that. I know there are lots of stories out there that so-and-so is being looked at or whatever. I am telling you, we've gone down that path. We've asked questions. We have absolutely no basis to say that is true in any way, shape, or form. So in terms of leads, to me, there are 3 leads right now. One is, given the videos, we know that this is somebody who is somewhat stocky. It is a male. It's somebody who has a mustache and either a goatee or a beard. Law enforcement has told us, people involved in this investigation, that they believe that whoever took Nancy is from the Tucson television area. And that's why, or one of the reasons why, they were sending notes, not just to us, but to local television stations there. So at least now they've got that description. On top of that description, if the email that we received is written by the same person who came to Nancy's door the night she was kidnapped, it would be an intelligent person based on the construction of that email, as well as somebody who is tech savvy. So in terms of people calling authorities with clues, it is somebody, it would seem, who is tech savvy, who is intelligent, who is somewhat stocky, a male with a mustache and either a goatee or beard. That is something. And there may be something identifying about what that person was wearing. So that's one path. A second path is Bitcoin, and I will just leave it at that. And the third path is, one of the things that authorities do all the time when they get a video like this of somebody who they believe is the kidnapper is they look at what they're wearing and they...
I don't know why Harvey is so involved in this investigation. Yeah, and I agree with your comment. They already had a $50,000 reward when Bitcoin sounds silly. And why not act like the hero and just give the information, take the reward, and be the hero and be famous? If they really had information, they could just give it to the FBI for the reward money. Oh my gosh, true crime. I just read your comment and I just said that. We're thinking the same thing.
Try and find out, where did they buy it? So, you look at the gloves and they seem bizarre. And there are things about the getup that are unusual.
They really just can't trace it, right? If that's what we're getting from law enforcement. Obviously, they haven't been able to trace anything related to the Bitcoin or the emails.
And so if the authorities can figure out where these things were purchased, because, you look at that and is it something somebody would just have in their house, or is it something they would go out to buy, within a fairly narrow time frame before actually doing it? And a lot of people who do that think, okay, I'll pay cash, and therefore there's going to be no record of me buying it. But there are records that many stores have where they can find out who purchased an item like that and when. And if there is surveillance video in the store, if they bought it at a big store like a Home Depot or something like that, and they can find out even when somebody purchases something with cash, if they have a time frame on when they purchased it, authorities have often gone to the store, gotten surveillance video, looked exactly at that time, and sure enough, they have somebody going to the cash register with that item. And that becomes almost a smoking gun. So the person who did that is not going to walk in completely masked, because that in itself creates an issue. So if they came in street clothes and bought any one of those items, then that could be a real way, and a way that authorities have done in many cases in the past, of identifying who was at that door. So that's what we know right now. We will give you further updates as we get them.
Agent says it's not that easy to collect reward money from agencies. I'm actually not really surprised to hear that at all. I could see that being a thing. Let's watch this clip and then we're going to listen to a little bit of Banfield. I feel some type of way about Banfield lately, but she has some good coverage. And then I'll check for the recent updates of the last 10
McCallum, and this is the story. We have major developments in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old mom to Savannah Guthrie. She was last seen, Mrs. Guthrie, 11 days ago now. The FBI has been launching an extensive search. We see investigators out on foot in a very large area in the Catalina Foothills. And we're going to give you some proximity on how far that is from the Guthrie home in just a moment. But that comes more than 24 hours after the release, stunning release yesterday. This was a huge, huge development in this case of these images that you see on your screen. That's the search area that you're looking at right now. And then let's put up these images that appeared yesterday, which have really broken this open in a huge way. This man walking into Mrs. Guthrie's front porch around the time she is believed to have vanished from that home. Now, the images reportedly leading to a very dramatic uptick, as you would expect. This is why the FBI released them. Lots and lots of new phone calls, new tips as people get a look at the eyes of this individual, the gait, his height, his size, and try to figure out if this is somebody that they know and can help the FBI with. So TMZ founder Harvey Levin had another development. He tells Fox that he received a third note. They have received some of the prior notes with regard to this ransom that may or may not be factual. In this one, someone claimed to know who the kidnapper is. So we're going to get you more information on that. A lot floating around. So we have to be careful as we watch all this come in. But we kick things off right now with our senior correspondent, 𝗝cie 𝗠𝗲𝗄𝗼, who is live outside Annie Guthrie, the daughter's home right now, with some new information. Hi, 𝗝cie.
Hi, Martha. And this just happened within the last few minutes here. We saw an unmarked vehicle come up to the front of the home, and we saw what we believe were two agents. They walked inside the house. They weren't in there for more than 10 minutes, I would say, and they came out, the two agents. One was carrying two different bags. One was a brown paper bag. One looked like a white plastic bag. The other agent also had on latex gloves. And then they checked the mailbox right before they left and drove away. Our producer, Alex Rego, was shouting questions at them, just trying to get some clarification of why they are here. They, of course, did not answer in that moment. But a reminder, on Saturday, we also saw quite a bit of activity at this home behind me when you had agents from the FBI and investigators from the Sheriff's Department coming here at 8:30 at night. They went into that house. They were in the garage, and our team saw flashes of light like someone was taking pictures in there, and then also in a whole other different part of the home. They were here for 2.5 hours, also left with a brown paper bag, and they had some sort of folding table with them as well. Keep in mind, this is all happening as the FBI says they are also on foot right now, searching portions of the foothills, which is also where Nancy Guthrie's home is located. It's in the foothills of the Catalina Mountains. They're out there doing a search as well. We've seen them walking the lines of the roads, and we've also seen them in the brush doing a search. So this is a very active investigation, and it continues. Martha?
Good information, 𝗝cie. Thank you very much. Obviously, you'll let us know if we see agents returning to Annie Guthrie's home. We've seen it a couple of times now, and they left, as you say, moments ago with a couple of bags in hand after they came out of that home. With that, we bring in former FBI Special Agent and Criminal Defense Attorney Stuart Kaplan. Stuart, great to have you with us. What's your reaction to this latest information from 𝗝cie 𝗠𝗲𝗄𝗼 on the scene there?
Well, Martha, let me unpack a lot of things. Number one is the first priority to the FBI is to try to locate and return Nancy Guthrie to her family safe and sound. And I think we can all agree that to some extent the FBI may not be able to control that outcome. Number two is there's been a lot of criticism today. It seems that the investigation has stalled, or why is there a lag? Why don't we see as much flurry of activity as we saw yesterday? The FBI, if they're going to apprehend and arrest someone and prosecute that person not only has to be the right person, but they have to get him right. What does that mean? That means this case.
Okay, so what about Carlos? They didn't get Carlos right.
And coming in and confessing and turning himself in, it's going to be a circumstantial evidence case. That means that the FBI must cross the T's and dot the I's, because all of this circumstantial evidence is open for challenge in a court of law if and when they apprehend the individuals or the individual that is responsible. So that's why you see this kind of behind the scenes, I think, not as much flurry as activity, but I can tell you that the FBI is working around the clock. Number three, this video, the pictures that were released yesterday, facial recognition, which has not really been touched upon, relies upon geometrical measurements or geometrical mapping. Notwithstanding this individual is wearing a mask, there are enough geometrical measurements that can be elicited from those pictures in that video that the FBI is using very, very sophisticated technology, which is not known to the public or available to the public, to perhaps be able to narrow those persons of interest to positively identify that individual that was captured on that doorbell camera. So let me just say, and I said it several days ago, technology in this case is at the forefront. The FBI has deployed some very, very sophisticated technology, normally not seen or not visible to the general public. This case is going to crack wide open. Now, with respect to the FBI returning to Annie Guthrie's house, obviously, when you take a look at the statistics of abductions or kidnappings, sometimes, unfortunately, they lead right back to a family member. And look, we don't really want to go down that road because of the people that are involved in this particular case, but there seems to be something that continues to draw them back, and it just may be either to include or to exclude those individuals that reside in that house.
Yeah, while you have been speaking.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Do they even have anything? Exactly, Green Eyed. So why don't they have someone? Yeah, exactly. Let's go check on the boots on the ground real quick.
How's it going? What I see, not much of anything.
I heard the family's not even staying at at Annie's house. So why are they there? If someone gets arrested, it wouldn't probably be there.
Doherty's FBI was here today.
Hey, MSM.
Yeah, I gotta look out for the javelinas. There's javelinas out here. There's coyotes out here. But let me just show you something out here. Let me just go out this way real quick. Because authorities are asking neighbors about their property. Now, say a body's buried around here.
So Jesse Waters from Fox is saying, TMZ reports, yeah, we know that the masked suspect's backpack has been identified as Walmart brand. Sweatshirt and shoes. They have narrowed down the brand sweatshirt and the shoes as well. Well, I hope that helps them find Nancy. DNA on the gloves is being tested. I'm reading to you guys the updates. Brianna Whitney reports the sheriff's confirming to our sister station a pair of black gloves is now being tested. All of this prompted by the surveillance video.
See what I mean?
And why would the person who abducted Nancy be so stupid as to leave a glove? Like, if they can't figure out who he is with the footage, okay, I guess maybe dropped it on accident. Doesn't seem right to me.
There's a body out here somewhere.
What?
Fox News saying second glove found. Yeah, now we're going to get into Glovegate. Yo, this is crazy. Dude, you could put a body back here. Literally, you could pull up in your vehicle and throw a body out. And I don't mean to be, come on, let's be real. The feds are in here looking for body in the neighborhood or evidence. It appears to me they're looking in places, in tunnels, in pipes, in pipes. I've seen them go in pipes. I've seen them go in RV trailers. I've seen them look around properties.
This is interesting. I didn't realize this. Nerdy on X says approximately 11 days after the Idaho 4 homicides, a black glove was found by a third-party YouTuber, but it was later determined to have nothing to do with the case. It has now been 10 days since Nancy was reported missing on February 1st, and a black glove was found nearby today. It is unclear whether it has any connection to the case, but there is hope it could be relevant. I didn't know.
With a flashlight out here.
I forgot about it.
Nobody can see you. Can anybody hear me?
Whoa, JLR. He's nuts out there.
Can anyone hear me? You can't even hear. Nobody can hear you. Anyone hear me?
He's like really.
Oh. Just say yes.
He's really doing this. It's hilarious.
You can't even hear anything. This is some serious stuff, folks. Outside the home of Tommaso. Can anyone hear me? The dog did. The dog heard me.
Ask the dog if he knows anything about Nancy.
Crazy. All right, I'm gonna head up back up towards the vehicles because I'm getting a little creepy out. It's getting creepy. Plus, you got to deal with all that. Stuff crazy. Where is Nancy? Is she back here in this neighborhood somewhere?
You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think either the ransom stuff is complete BS or they know that Nancy's not alive, because why wouldn't the family put it up? By up, I mean the ransom, right? Pay the ransom. Or no, like it doesn't make any sense. Savannah's worth $50 million. She got some money to spare for her mom. She probably would have paid it if people say she is who she says she is, a very kind person and very close to her mother, right? Those gloves could have purposely been put there to throw investigators off. Exactly, true crime. That's what I was saying. I don't think the real intruder would make this mistake. That's my point. I said they wouldn't be that stupid to do that mistake, make that mistake when they were able to, quote unquote, get away with it thus far, even with surveillance footage, right? Because if they had any leads, we would know more. The desert is so dark at night. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, I'd give it C. I'm sorry, grade 9.
Outside the home of Amy and Tommaso. Nancy was here before she was taken back to her house, Catalina Foothills. Where is she? Here's the house. Oh, car coming. Dude, I have this eerie feeling that somebody's going to jump me.
Oh no, JLR. Not good.
So they shine lights on their home.
Allegedly, too. I don't know. Somebody on X was saying that maybe the perpetrator wore multiple layers of gloves. I could see that. If they put their gloves in their pockets, it could fall out. But then I would ask, why take the gloves off for any reason? Especially if they're a professional, right? I don't know. He literally was putting weeds over the doorbell camera. Not too smart. That's also very true, Chastity. That's also very true. The weeds. Not too smart, not too professional. The ransom is definitely a hoax. I didn't want to say it. I really didn't want to say it. Even though I know I've been saying, you know, some people think it. I don't know. I'm starting to think so too. I really am. I think it's a hoax or a psyop.
All right, folks. With that being said, I'm going to sign off for the night.
Oh.
If something else breaks, you will definitely hear it here on JLR Investigates. Boots on the ground.
Wow. Okay. Let's go. That's basically like the only boots on the ground that's streaming. I want to watch a little bit of this Ashley Banfield. She's not my favorite lately, but she does a good job. So.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield and this is Drop Dead Serious. I'm going to do something very unorthodox in this episode tonight. I'm actually going to start with some breaking news that just happened right before midnight, and I'm recording this.
I know it's been very controversial. She got a lot of heat because the first time, or not the first time, but I think one of her first or her second videos, she said that it was, she basically said her source told her that it was the son-in-law, Tommaso. And there was like a lot of controversy over that. Because people were like, well, you were wrong. And now you're accusing him. Now it's defamation and he hasn't been arrested. And so she does good reporting though.
On the morning of February 11th.
I actually have a short dropping about her later so you guys can watch it. She is in the Epstein files.
It just passed over into midnight. I'd actually finished the podcast and Brian Enton on News Nation got some unbelievable breaking news on a person being detained in Rio Rico, Arizona, which is about a dozen or so miles from the Mexican border south of Tucson. Okay, so that was big news. We knew that there was this person being detained and being questioned in connection with the 𝗠𝗲𝗃𝗍𝗍 Guthrie disappearance. But Brian Enton raced down to Rio Rico, and wouldn't you know it, he is out in front of the person's home who was detained. So it was a traffic stop, okay? But that person was detained from inside the home, the homeowner said. His mother-in-law actually spoke with Brian Enton, said that the cops broke down the door, put her son-in-law in cuffs, and took all of their phones. So listen to this unbelievable interview that Brian Enton just got with the woman who owns the house where this massive law enforcement action just took place, like within the last 30 minutes.
I'm outside the house that is now being searched where this subject lived, we're told. There was a traffic...
Let me know if it's lagging on your guys' end, because it is on mine, but I couldn't tell if it was just StreamYard.
Stop close by. This is the subject being questioned in the 𝗠𝗲𝗃𝗍𝗍 Guthrie investigation. This is Josefina.
Yes.
This is her house, and the subject is her.
I said in one of the recent lives that I did that what if I believe that Rochelle, the perpetrator, could have followed her home. I was thinking maybe the perpetrator was already in the home. Because he comes from the sideway in the surveillance footage. If you've been following or been here in the lives, you guys know we talked about that because he came from the side of the house. So I was thinking maybe he was already there. But no surveillance of that, right?
Son-in-law.
Yeah,
Is
my
that right?
son, yeah.
Tell me how this happened. Where was he
We
when
just watched
he was detained?
My daughter and him were, and the kids, my grandkids, were doing DoorDash when they got stopped here, and I don't know what kind of questions they asked them. But when we got home, I wasn't at home. When we got home, we found out that they took my son out. They went inside, they busted the doors from my house. They went inside and took my son to the living room and had him handcuffed, and then got him outside. That's when the time that we got home, and we asked what was going on, and they couldn't say anything. And they said, and I asked him to have a search warrant to go in my house. And they said, we don't need a search warrant. We could go do that.
Hi, Roxanne. Good to see you, love. Thanks for being here. You guys, I feel like we're back to square one. Like, I think we were back to square one with this case.
You want to. So I told him, yeah, I think you need a search warrant. Why did you break my door? You took my son the wrong way. I mean, you heard him. His wrists were with the handcuffs.
Let me ask you, were you familiar with the Nancy Guthrie case? Had you seen that she was missing?
I saw it on Facebook, but since I don't know her, I didn't read what was going on.
Did they take electronic devices at all? Did they take your phone?
I don't have anything. They took my phone. They took my phone, my husband's phone, my daughter's phone, my grandkid's phone, and my son-in-law's phone.
Let me show you these pictures really quick, Josefina, of, just give me a second. I got to pull them up on my phone. These are the pictures from outside Nancy Guthrie's house. This is who they're looking for. Did the eyes look like your son-in-law at all?
No, not at all.
Do you see the mouth?
Yeah, no, he doesn't look that at all.
Brian, can you ask what her son-in-law's name is?
What's his name?
It's Carlos Palazuelos.
Sorry, what's his name?
Carlos.
Carlos.
Yes.
And what's his last name?
Palazuelos.
Okay.
So.
And does he work in Tucson? Would he ever be in Tucson?
He's in Tucson all week. He works delivering boxes for like UPS, and he works with a company. And I told him, you can call the company that he works there and verify that he's working.
Yeah. Is your daughter also detained?
No, they just let my daughter and my grandkids go.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Josefina.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the latest here, Jesse. They took her phone too, her husband's phone, and her daughter's phone, and obviously her son-in-law's phone, and they are searching her house right now. So this is sort of an unfolding situation.
And I'll get into this with Arthur, the fact that they didn't have a search warrant according to her.
I love
do you know where Carlos is right now, Brian?
Do we know where Carlos is right now?
No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. They took my phone. I can't reach with nobody.
Yeah, we think he's being questioned. But...
Yeah, they already asked us a lot of questions about him. We told, like I said, I have nothing to hide. You can go in my house. You can search anything you want. There's nothing to hide. I don't know the lady. I don't know about the lady. I saw her on Facebook, but like I told you.
Was he ever violent? Any violence with Carlos?
No, he's a good guy.
Criminal history that you know of?
None of it.
No? Okay.
Is he from Tucson?
Brian,
yeah, so I mean, that's sort of the situation. She's obviously in shock. Yeah.
Did you show her photos of the person outside of Nancy Guthrie's house? The images, the mask, the backpack? Did she identify any of those items of clothing? And nothing. She doesn't see anything in that.
I did. And let me show you again. Have you seen these photos?
Yeah, the detective showed it to me right now.
And the backpack? Does the backpack
He
look
doesn't
familiar?
have a backpack. He doesn't wear backpacks. He doesn't like either that. I don't know, what gloves or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
what they're-
gloves.
no.
You see the boots?
Yeah.
Let me get you a
Oh, no,
closer
he didn't.
picture. You
Huh?
see this?
Oh,
Look
wow.
look at the eyebrows. The eyebrows are very specific. You see how they're very manicured?
No, that's not him. Nope. I can assure you it's not him.
Okay.
No, I can assure you. Like I told you, if I had my phone, I will show you a picture of it.
Okay.
I can show you.
Yeah, she wants to show me a picture, but she doesn't have her phone. But she seems very sure. I mean, it's hard to tell with the mask, but but we've said if you knew the person, you would be able to recognize them.
But Brian, if you don't mind asking her, does she know where he was January 31st, February 1st?
Do you know where he was January 31st? You know when this happened? It would have been last Saturday night.
Well, he works from Monday through Friday. He's home Friday. He stays home Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Goes back to work on Monday. So on the weekends, he stays at my house. He doesn't go nowhere. He stays.
So was he at your house?
Yeah,
last
he was.
Saturday?
Yeah, he was here at my
Are
house.
you positive?
Yeah, I'm positive. He was here at my house.
Because this would have happened late Saturday and early into Sunday morning, like around 2 a.m.
Oh,
on
no,
Sunday.
he's always here for his kids on the weekend.
Could he have left in the night?
Oh, no.
No.
I'm pretty sure. He has his van that work. He uses the van that's outside.
A van?
A van. It's broken. It's not working.
How long has it been broken?
Well, it broke
I believe her. I believe Josefina.
on a Friday afternoon.
This past Friday?
This Friday, huh?
So a
They
couple of
pulled-
days
yeah,
ago Friday.
yeah.
Okay.
So the van was pulled here, and he's been here. He's been going with my daughter door dashing with the kids, his kids, and he's been home.
Yeah, they're treating him like he's already the person. It feels wrong. It does. It does. They got the sisters. No, they detained and released a GLS driver for questioning, but it seems like a lot more than that happened. More than questioning. They like broke down his door. At the beginning of the live, we played the clip, so I'll probably play it again before we leave. Yeah, it feels very wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're sure he was home last weekend?
Yeah, he's
in the
been
middle of the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So you heard that. That's what she said, Jessie. So she says she says that he was home. She can't look at it on her phone. I mean, they took all the electronic devices, which would make sense. And so she's just sort of waiting out here to see when she's going to be able to go back to the house.
And Brian, I mean, excellent job asking questions about this. I'm sorry, I didn't know if she was saying anything else, Brian. I apologize.
No, she was just saying what were you saying? They told you to go stay somewhere else tonight?
Yeah, maybe to stay somewhere else because I'm not going home to my house tonight.
Okay. Yeah, she's basically they've told her that I guess the search warrant may go on all night long. So she's been told she probably won't be able to get back home tonight.
Okay, so now what this entails, I can't tell you. The fact that he's in cuffs, it's a little more than detained, but taken out in cuffs, all of their phones
I'm glad
taken.
she agrees because I said that. I said at some point it becomes an arrest.
And whether this has to do with Nancy Guthrie being missing and that video that was released today and the tips that came flooding in, don't know. Does it have to do with the alleged ransom notes that had come in? Because there was action there today as well. You're going to hear that in my podcast. Apparently, money went in to the Bitcoin wallet, and suddenly there was a lot of activity that led to this this police detaining of this man in Rio Rico. So now that you have the latest that literally just broke, here is the rest of my podcast that I recorded earlier that really wraps up the entire day. Hey, everybody, I'm Ashley Banfield. This is Drop Dead Serious. Welcome to my Vermont broadcast location. I'm going to do these updates. I don't want you to miss them. And also, it really does show
No ends. Sorry, Ashley. My internet's being slow today.
late this evening. Not only does Harvey say there's activity in the Bitcoin account, but guess who else did? KGUN, one of the local stations in Tucson, also a recipient of one of these alleged ransom notes, right?
Yes, Grace. They must have something, right?
Confirmed that the amount is less than $300.
It does feel
deposited in the Bitcoin account. Why is this important? Well, if money went in and then money went out, you can trace where it goes out. And if you haven't seen my interview from last night on my podcast last night with Ari Redboard from TRM Labs, it's a blockchain intelligence company, you have to see the interview. He is the foremost mind on crypto crime, right? And financial crimes. He's literally the guy that helps government and the private sector. And so he taught me something I didn't know. He taught me just how traceable it really is, right? We got the wallet. Money goes in, but the secret is when the money goes out. Once the money goes out, you can track it, right? A little like taking a paper check and walking around with it. Doesn't do much for you until you go to the bank and cash it, get the money, and now the bank knows who you are. It's a little like that. You get it out into the exchange to actually start, buying things or transferring it, and now every single one of these transactions is traceable. So it's in the description. Definitely link to yesterday's podcast and listen to Ari Redboard's interview. It's super, super interesting. And maybe this is what's happened. Maybe this is what's happened tonight because somebody put $300-ish, a little less than $300 into that wallet, and there's activity there. So are they tracing it? Because it wasn't long afterwards that all of a sudden SWAT team went out, bomb squad went out, and they were headed to a location southeast of the area of the sheriff's department. Can't say where. Everything's been real quiet. And even if reporters knew, they weren't going to say because there's obviously some kind of activity. Fox News confirming through two sources that it absolutely had to do with the Nancy Guthrie case.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I really hope this time tomorrow we've got guys in cuffs.
You guys, we're going
right?
on 12 days tomorrow. I don't think he has anything to do with it. I don't either. I don't.
I hope this time tomorrow we have resolution about Nancy. Who knows if this is about a scam, a crypto Bitcoin demand, a scam on top of a crime that's unrelated, or who knows if this is actually related to the crime. I can tell you this goes to the highest level in the country. If you were watching news today, you saw the White House weighing in on this. In the press room, Caroline Leavitt actually addressed the Nancy Guthrie case. Have a look.
Gabe.
Caroline, thank you. And thank you for the update on our colleague Savannah Guthrie's mother. Is there anything more you can share? You said the president was reviewing that surveillance footage. What was his initial reaction when seeing those disturbing images? And does he believe that that suspect acted alone?
I haven't talked to him specifically about the second point on whether he...
And just so you guys know, there was word on the street earlier that the family had hired a private investigator, and they actually it has been verified that they did not. That's not true. So you see the amount of misinformation and stuff surrounding this case. That's if broker requires your verified information. So now she's going to accuse someone else.
The suspect acted alone or not. So I don't want to weigh in on the president's thinking on that. His initial reaction, of course, as all Americans, is just pure disgust. And again, it's heartbreaking to see now this footage really bring to life a story we've all been reading about. And again, we're just praying for the safety of Nancy Guthrie and that she will return home soon. And the president directed me to please encourage all Americans with any information to call the FBI. And we hope that this case will come to a positive resolution as soon as possible.
All of this happened within the same time period as this remarkable drop of video. Okay. So the Nest cams, yes, they're Nest cams. That's what I reported last week. They are Nest cams, and Nest is owned by Google. So Google worked with the FBI and worked with local sheriffs to provide it's called the back-end systems residual data. Okay. It's kind of a fancy way of saying we actually did have something in our cloud. Nancy Guthrie might not have had the subscription, so she couldn't get it, but we actually had it. I guess it took a while. There's some reporting today that it actually happened today, that these images got to the FBI and local law enforcement today. I'm not sure of that, but they did share it today. After they shared it with the Guthrie family, who, according to NBC, said they did not recognize the figure in the picture. Hard to recognize the figure in the picture, given the coverings. And we're going to go over this in detail because there is so much that is just silently said about this perpetrator, right? For starters, he ain't no pro. Let's put it that way. And I'm going to break down exactly why he's no pro. But there's a couple of things that really stand out in this video. The backpack that he's wearing, it is packed full, comically full, right? Soft and full. What's in there?
Full.
Tools for kidnapping? Maybe bags for either bagging a body or stealing something. Don't know. Gun holster. Everybody has talked about this gun holster. It's a joke, really, in terms of like people who know, firearms. The way it's been described is someone who clearly has no knowledge of law enforcement or background in law enforcement or military, because the weapon itself is described as a semi-automatic, right? Holstered in a revolver holster that doesn't quite fit right. And it's right at the center where his crotch is. Also a very strange place to have a gun. But it does hew to the right with the handle of the gun. So perhaps a right-handed perpetrator, just because he would be able to grab the handle of the gun from the right. That's at least a clue as to whether this guy's left-handed or right-handed. Also, the balaclava. First thing I noticed right away. Some people call it a ski hat, ski mask. I call it a balaclava. It's what bank robbers have always worn, right? To cover up everything they can except the eyes in the mouth hole. How many people buy those in Tucson? I'm up in Vermont right now. And even I don't see those things around here. And it is, right now, 25 degrees. It's a warmer day. Not many people buy those or wear them in Tucson. So whomever purchased that or got his hands, and yes, the FBI is calling it a him, that's going to be a memorable moment. It's an unusual purchase. It's an unusual order. That order might be able to be traced. It is it's a significant balaclava because it's got a pattern and seams to it. It's not just a black one, right? So I think the balaclava is big in terms of tracking who actually bought it. A lot of people are saying you can see facial hair, a mustache, maybe even a goatee, soul patch. Jury's out on that for me. I think you can see the mustache. I'm not so sure that what you're seeing is a soul patch. Someone else mentioned there could be a disguise underneath the mask as well. I'm not so sure that this guy is the guy I would assume would be that clever. I don't know. This guy didn't seem like he was planning anything. He didn't seem to know really what was going on and didn't seem to be too concerned. Certainly wasn't worried. Didn't look like he had a mission. Didn't look like he had to get in, get out, get his job done and not be seen. Didn't seem to care that he'd been seen. Paul Holes has something so interesting to say.
Didn't seem to care that he'd been seen, Ashley, but nobody knows who he is. So he accomplished something so far, right?
Chris Swecker has something very different to say about that. You'll hear that in a moment. Fox News also reported that under the right arm of the perpetrator, they felt that you could see a cell phone popping out of his pocket. I was struggling with that one. I felt at one point maybe in his front left pocket, pant pocket, there might have been a shape when he turns away from the camera. You know, he's messing at the camera and then he turns away from the camera. And I felt like maybe his left front pocket looked like it was a stiffer shape. Again, I'm not sure, but I think FBI, you know, digital forensics are much better.
You know what I'm wondering about that I just thought about when she said cell phone? What about the Wi-Fi? Would they be able to look into Nancy's like Wi-Fi information, network information? Oh, I guess you can't tell if there's devices. I guess it would only matter if the device is connected to the network, right? Like if it was a family member and they had the Wi-Fi password and it connected to Nancy's network, then obviously there would be proof of that. But I guess, yeah, it would be irrelevant. If a phone connected to it, well, I think it has to connect, right? Like actually connect. So if it's a random person, if connected, yeah, I guess it depends if she had a secure Wi-Fi network, like, you know, with the password and stuff.
Than us watching it on television or zooming
You would
in
have
on,
to sign
on the
on.
internet. The tips.
Yeah.
What an idea. I mean, to put that out there, it caused so many people to call.
Yes, if it has the Wi-Fi button on, wouldn't it try to connect and show they were there? That's what I was thinking. Somehow it was like
There was one gumshoe homicide detective I heard on Fox saying, there's some girlfriend out there who hates this guy. And they're going to call him in. They're going to drop a dime. That's what he said. They're going to drop a dime on this guy. And this gumshoer, you know.
Oh, settle down, Ashley. We still want to hear why you were trying to flirt with Jeffrey Epstein.
Detective's been at the game a long time. He was well into his late 60s and he had done this for a long time. But that's a really good point because that's what happens a lot of times. People see something and they're like, I recognize that body shape. I recognize that mustache. I recognize those eyes. I recognize that jacket. I recognize those shoes. I recognize that balaclava, right? So this was a brilliant thing to do. And the tips came flooding in right at the same time TMZ reports the Bitcoin activity, right? And
yeah, that's what I was thinking, Agent, too. They can go off pings to a tower as you drive through town. So I'm wondering if the nearest tower, if the perpetrator's cell phone pinged to the nearest tower for some reason, whether it's interesting.
Right at the same time as the explosion of law enforcement activities. SWAT flies out, bomb squad flies out. Another gumshoe detective said, yeah, you don't send those things out unless there's going to be an arrest tonight. There's going to be somebody in cuffs tonight. That's what he said. He's not connected to the case, just an analysis. You do not send out the heavy guns unless you got something, either a hostage negotiation situation or you got a dangerous arrest, right? Bomb squad, super interesting. But listen, watch the space. Like I said, things can change. So one more thing I want to hit. Savannah Guthrie put out an Instagram today. This would have been the lead story in the news had it not been for all of these other things that happened afterwards. Savannah put out on her Instagram, we believe she is still alive. bring her home. I'll say the tip line again, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Can't hear it enough.
So we would hope they've already done that, right? That the FBI already probably did that. I hope they find that info. They had to have communication with someone else too. I mean, he would have had to pass through a traffic light. They don't have cameras on those close to her house. I know. And then the neighbors don't have Ring cameras. Like, I guess it would depend, like, where in the neighborhood she lived, right? If someone else's surveillance camera caught a car or something. But clearly, again, that's not the case, right? Because they haven't been able to arrest anyone.
800-CALL-FBI. Anybody watching this right now, no tip is too small. No tip is too small. Okay. To that end, Fox News has a digital reporter named Michael Ruiz. He's been doing a lot of really good reporting alongside News Nation's Brian Enton. These guys are the best in the true crime business, right? And I can't really figure out why Michael Ruiz released this video today that he said he actually took on February the 3rd, which would be Tuesday of last week. But he took the same kind of pictures that Brian Enton took, walking up the walkway and going to the front door where the blood is seen on Nancy's front tiles. But along the way, he sort of panned to the left and saw this blue LL Bean shirt sitting on the ground. Very weird. This is right out front of Nancy Guthrie's
Amazon package. Did you guys see that right by the door? Huh. I believe that Amazon package was maybe after. And can they look into... That was odd. Did you guys see that package by the door?
Sitting on the ground.
Look right there, Amazon. So Amazon went there after the crime scene and didn't report the blood, or was it after the information was already out? I have questions.
Very weird. This is right out front of Nancy Guthrie's home, a blue LL Bean shirt sitting on the ground. This is after the homicide detectives with the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
I wonder if that is why they pulled over Carlos, perhaps, the Amazon.
The scene. Is it from the sheriffs? Did they leave it there by mistake? Did they not
just
collect
realized
it
that.
if it was already there? Is it from the guy who was seen on the video? It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, and why hasn't LE said anything about that blue shirt?
But Michael Ruiz put this out and said, I shot this on February 3rd. That's last Tuesday. That's a day after the crime scene was released. Okay. One other thing that's interesting here is that Michael Ruiz's video actually trained down into that more gravelly walkway away from the tile entrance where Brian Enton saw blood. And it looked like it's possible some of those red spots might be blood droplets. We don't know. He just zeroed in on it, and it did seem as though it looked a little like it could have been more blood droplets, which would take you outside of that arch. Because we'd been wondering, why is there only blood right in that entranceway and nothing walking out towards the gravel driveway?
Okay, update on X. Multiple reports suggest there are cameras inside Nancy's house. If the FBI can retrieve the footage from the time of the abduction, it could answer many questions and also show Nancy's movements throughout the day, who she talks to, and who has been inside the house. Okay, I don't know that that's been verified 100% by LE, but that is someone who's following the case online.
But there was no car
That
out
would be
there
good.
either, right? There was no car out
If
of that
it's
driveway.
true.
It makes you wonder all the different scenarios. And one person I spoke with today said, this is a homicide investigator, said, is it possible that Nancy ran and was injured and bleeding and ran
And the Guthrie family, per NBC, does not recognize the person in the video, of course.
and out that front door and was grabbed and brought back in? That's a possibility. I've also wondered if she answered the door, opened the door, and there he was, and he hit her to disable her, and that's why the blood was there. But now, with Michael Ruiz's video, it's very interesting to see that potentially that blood trail does carry out, potentially, not for sure. We know from the Pima County Sheriff's Department that the blood at the front entrance was Nancy's. They haven't gone so far as to say that there was blood that was along the walkway as well. Okay, so 3:30 Eastern time, 1:30 Tucson time today. An interesting scene played out at Annie Guthrie's home, which is about 4 miles away from Nancy's, right? It was very, very busy there today. But at least one sheriff's deputy and 3 law enforcement officers showed up at her front door and knocked and waited and waited. And it was a prolonged wait. And then the door opened and there was a person.
One of you said Celebrate was already at Nancy and Annie's house getting tower pings. Maybe he's a fall guy. Why doesn't Annie, who was close to her, have that info? Exactly. Wouldn't you have more than one person access that? Good question, Evie. Somehow I don't think Nancy is alive, says Valerie.
Like an older person who answered and then sort of got out of the way of the cameras. They were not invited in, not right away. They were standing there and conversing with the person inside the home. Hard to tell, but I'd say maybe under a minute or so. Then they were let in and the door was closed behind them. So that happened again at about 1:30 local time, 3:30 Eastern time. But then after all this crazy activity, the video being dropped, the Bitcoin, the SWAT team, all of that, agents were, like it was described, flooding into the home of Annie Guthrie, the area around the home, like the neighborhood. A flood of agents arrived in the neighborhood of Annie Guthrie's home. And there were a couple things that they were seen doing. Some of them were canvassing the neighborhood, knocking on neighbors' doors. Neighbors would come out, look like they were answering questions, but they seemed to be going door to door, at least some of the agents, okay? And Brian Enton actually said search and rescue crews were going door to door near Annie's house. He also said law enforcement was searching the brush in Annie Guthrie's neighborhood. And we had heard that there was searching going on in a number of different properties around Annie Guthrie's home. And then Brian said it was the FBI that was knocking on the doors and asking for permission to go onto people's properties to search. You have to do that. You got to get a warrant if they won't let you, and you have to have probable cause, or you got to ask for permission. You can't just start wandering onto people's property. So flurry of activity at Annie Guthrie's house today, all while this other business was playing out. Also, very harrowing photograph emerged today. Investigators appearing to be looking in the drainage pipes of one property in Annie Guthrie's neighborhood. And then this is breaking news from Anjanette Levy, who works for Law and Crime. She says ABC News is reporting one person has been detained for questioning in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. One person has been detained. And
we did see that video. Let's watch it really quick right now. There hasn't been any updates since we've been online, really, about this. So it might be quiet for the rest of the night.
Apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
And investigators showed up to this house, or were you the one who was pulled over in the traffic stop?
I was the one that was pulled over at the traffic stop.
Where was that?
Right here on by Chubasco.
Okay, and you were taken into custody at that point?
Yeah.
And you were
I was being detained.
Detained, okay.
I was detained the whole time.
Okay,
That's what they told me.
Where were they
At
holding
the back of a car.
Back of a
Marana car, and then they moved me into a Pima County Sheriff.
Were you being questioned in the car?
At the Marana car, I was being questioned, but they only asked me for my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and my social.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I, and all that. But
are you ever up in Tucson?
Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever do?
Ooh, I wonder if that's that. Yeah, good thinking on the Amazon package.
Or like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think?
Oh,
you may have,
wow.
Did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Jeez. How do you think they connected that case to you?
I'll go ask them, bro.
Okay, so
that's
then
something you gotta ask them. I can't answer that question.
did they take anything from your house tonight?
No, I don't know. All I can say is they took my phone.
Took your phone.
Right.
You don't have your phone right now. Okay. What else? What
That's
else
it.
happened?
That's it. That's all I can say. Like I said, I'm done with the questions, bro.
Yeah.
Can you just let us?
Yes, absolutely.
Se llevaron tu teléfono. Sí, se lo llevaron. Y no me lo van a.
Wow, he's like, yeah, they took my phone. So that's the guy who Ashley was just referring to that they detained and released. Let's watch this clip.
You're shaking your head no, Maureen. Why?
Because being on the evidence response team.
I'm not a big fan of Megyn Kelly, to be honest, but again, her reporting is something I can appreciate. I am a fan of Maureen. She's on Brian Enton's channel a lot.
And also being part of
her. I like her.
You know, being a case agent involved in a lot of these cases, especially when you open a tip line. So as soon as they offered that $50,000 reward, that just opened the floodgates that, as everyone here, certainly those of us in the Bureau can attest to. And when they open those floodgates, you're going to get a whole bunch of other tips. For example, you're going to get phone calls saying, hey, on the day after she disappeared or late that night, I was driving by a highway, whatever, and right here at the mile marker 32, I saw a car pulled over and parked or whatever. Then you've got all the technical stuff going on in the background that we talked about with the geofencing and everything. And if they opened it up and looked at the hours afterwards and such, they'll notice that 2 devices were stopped on the side of the road, someplace or the other, you know, so even they're checking all these things out as they come in and as they're developing throughout the investigation. It's very fluid and it's very intensive.
James Hamilton, what do we glean from the fact that they keep going back to Annie and Tomas's home and neighborhood? Nancy had eaten dinner with them that night, allegedly played games, and was dropped off back at her house, which is, I'm told, 4 miles or 10 minutes away. So why, I mean, I don't want to jump to conclusions about that couple, but that is not, we're told, the crime scene. So why are they so obsessed with canvassing that neighborhood and that backyard?
Yeah, I don't think you're jumping to conclusions at all. You always start with who saw the victim last. And in this case, that's who saw Miss Guthrie last. So that makes complete sense that they're going to, run that to ground and continue to look at that story. And, don't forget, kidnappings are, like we were saying earlier, they're very, very difficult. And so this, indication there's more searching going on. This is a very desolate area. This isn't Manhattan. It's possible there's, a place to put a body in a lot of different places. And remember, this kidnapping, obviously there was some violence, and we know there's a heart issue. So either the violence could have caused some, God forbid she died during the kidnapping or shortly thereafter, or her heart, God forbid, stopped. And now this kidnapper's stuck with this dead body. What's he going to do? Right? He's not going to get any money for it. If that was his intent, was to kidnap to get the money. Now, what are you going to do? Well, maybe you dump it and then you just, drive away. And so there's going to be, like Maureen was saying, people giving tips saying, hey, I saw this, no one's talked about this white van. That's a whole good lead. No one seemed to want to talk about it. I'd love to talk about it. But, that's what you're seeing here. I'm shocked that there's a very specialized unit of dogs that the FBI has that can track a lot of things. I'm surprised they haven't been deployed. Maybe they have, but things like that, I would have had expected to see by now.
Will, you're shaking your head. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things I'd probably pick up on, Megyn, from your comments about the interest in family members or close family members. Well, the first thing that I got taught when I first learned kidnap and ransom negotiation was the 70% rule, and it still prevails to this day. And that is that in most.
You guys asked, they played games. Did Annie walk her in? Did Annie make if she was okay right after she dropped her off at home, being 84 years old? You would think, right? In the dark, going through the garage. I want to know why she was targeted.
Kidnappings, if this is indeed a kidnapping, in 70% of cases, there will be someone connected to the victim.
Can you guys imagine if this goes unsolved? Like the Sebastian Rogers case? A neighbor reported a guy trespassing. Yes, we did true crime. We covered that yesterday, the video. The camera footage seems close in size. Well, you would think that Ellie already got onto that, right?
That will be working in close proximity or will be a family member. And I think through the process of obviously elimination, the feds are going to have to look very much at the family very, very closely to see whether they are a viable prospect in terms of being suspects or whether they can be discounted from their inquiries. And just to cover on a point that James made, I've negotiated on the return of a dead body. So again, depending on who the group is, I agree with James that yes, if he does have the frail Nancy on his hands and she passes away, they may potentially discard the body. But if there's a slightly more professional element behind it, they may still continue to negotiate against that for the return of it. I think the key issue here really is the proof of life or lack thereof.
Go ahead, Fitz. I can see you want to get in.
Yeah, and historically speaking, everything that's being said here in the last few minutes is accurate. The last known, and I'll touch on a few subjects, and I'm going to be corrected here, but the last known for-profit kidnapping of which we are aware took place in the outskirts of Oslo, Norway. And the media was not involved or told about that for weeks after it happened. Kidnapping note was left at the table. She's missing. Body never recovered. Husband was arrested, then released thereafter. We brought up Sidney Riso. I did earlier.
And I'm sure the FBI or authorities are telling the family not to speak, right? They've been really quiet. I mean, they haven't even seen him outside, I don't think. There's no footage of them. The irony, she does Dateline sometimes. Something's not right with Annie and husband. A lot of people feel that way.
Last week, the Exxon executive, he died 4 days into his captivity. Those kidnappers kept it up for 50 plus days after that, trying to get the money. Husband and wife team eventually arrested. We talked about some of that last week. And to go back to the search aspects of it, there's never a wrong search or a bad search. I mean, as long as it's legal with consent, things we've all discussed already so far. And there's nothing wrong with re-interviewing, re-interviewing, multiple times people as new information comes up. So to me, it doesn't necessarily put any more of a suspicion on family members when agents are going back. The other thing I'll throw out there, I haven't heard this mentioned at all by anyone in the media. And I've been to Phoenix a few times. I'm not sure Tucson. I know it's not a lake-filled or pond-filled area, but I'm sure there are reservoirs or retaining ponds, pools, whatever they call them. I've heard nothing about any dive teams going into them anywhere along the way. And maybe someone here has, but that's something that should also be considered. Again, I'm not looking for Mrs. Guthrie's here necessarily, but certainly tools, elements of the crime, anywhere along any sort of egress, that's something they may want to consider if they haven't already.
We predicted this, and now it hits via TMZ, that the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are homing in on the outfit the presumed kidnapper wore as he approached the front door. They are on the hunt for who bought the items. Law enforcement sources involved in the investigation tell TMZ. They singled out 3 items in particular.
Okay, even if they know it's from Walmart, I mean, they don't know when it was purchased, right? I guess they could start looking into the family's accounts to see if they went to Walmart, but...
Gloves,
is that
Maureen, the backpack,
I guess,
and the gun visible on the Nest video. We're told authorities are contacting manufacturers and retailers to figure out who may have purchased the items, the gloves, the backpack, and the gun. What's interesting to me is, like, maybe not the gloves, like the backpack and the gun. That's something, guns are big in America and they're big in the Southwest. It's not unusual to find somebody out there with a gun, and it's not unusual to find anybody with a backpack. A face mask that, you wear that where I grew up in Syracuse, New York. That's, everyone's got one. But in Tucson?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You wear it down to get your mail if you want to have your face when you get back inside. But that to me seems very suspicious. In any event, they, of course, are going to do that because we saw in Kohlberger, as clever as he was in some ways, he bought that damn K-bar knife on Amazon. So even someone named Brian Kohlberger was brilliant in some ways, but made such elemental mistakes. So I get, they're probably checking the Amazon histories of all the family and maybe contractors who show up at the house, right? And then beyond that, you got to go the other end of the transaction, the sellers, that you can't just go to Amazon and say, who bought a face mask? Can you? I don't know if you can, but you definitely can go to the retail stores and say, do you sell this backpack? Look at it. And it was very distinctive looking. I still haven't figured out whether those are lights on his shoulder straps or reflective patches, but
they're the reflective things on the backpack, dude. They're not lights. The only light is in his mouth.
It's a very distinctive backpack, and we have both the front and the back of it pictured. Very helpful, no?
I'm annoying.
Very helpful. Very helpful. I think it's that you've highlighted the key areas as far as I'm concerned, which are the most identifiable in trying to obviously trace the firearm. I agree. I think even in terms of the ski mask, I think that's could be a lost leader in trying to follow inquiries on that. It would be very difficult. And who knows, maybe he knitted it or a family member knitted it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's been bought from a retail store. But I think the backpack, certainly, trousers, certainly the jacket, certainly. Those are the three areas I'd be most concentrating on.
One of our audience members is pointing out, can we play the video where he realizes that he's got to turn around, he's got to go back out and get the vegetation, and where he bends down. And she raised something that I actually has been gnawing at me too. Is there something wrong with this guy's leg or knee? Because watch, like when he
Okay, and you guys want to know something too, and I don't know if it has to do with maybe the recovery of the footage through Nest, but where's the timestamps for the surveillance
turns around
footage
and goes back out there? Hold on, he's trying to do his little tap thing to get the Nest camera off, which does not work. Stand by. Okay, now he's backing up. Okay, so like where he bends over there, he doesn't look very facile. He doesn't look very limber. And when he bends over there, he doesn't look like the most limber person either. Just made me wonder, I'm really going out on a limb here, but like the calmness with which he executed the crime and maybe an injury, could you possibly be looking for somebody, former law enforcement? That's who committed that Exxon kidnapping, former law enforcement. Or was he former, Jim? Or was he current? Anyway, he was definitely law enforcement.
Former Exxon Security, which of course was Exxon Security Vice President who was kidnapped.
Okay. I don't know. I guess you guys, I think, might conclude, based on what you told me yesterday, Maureen and Fitz, that probably not former law enforcement, given the way he's holding that gun. That doesn't, right? And so then maybe not former military either.
But he's altering the way he walks when he approaches the front porch and the camera, because people can say, oh, he looks surprised that there's a camera, but what we know is how he's dressed. He's dressed to conceal his identity.
Mm-hmm.
He has a set of gloves under the nitrile gloves. He may have leggings on under those pants to make him look a little bit heavier than he is
or
her, which I don't know. That facial hair looks pretty legit, but what do I know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's an altered gait, just on the off chance that someone gets some video off this thing, or if he can't destroy the camera right away, or whatever his plan was, because he definitely 100% is altering the way he walks and his stance as he approaches that camera. Would you guys agree with that?
It doesn't look natural.
No.
But most likely for utilitarian purposes, as opposed to a nagging injury of some sort. We can't rule it out, of course, but he purposely has his head down, and he has a big backpack on. We don't know how heavy that thing is, and what's in there, of course. So his gait is going to be.
I don't know. Do y'all think it looks natural? Do y'all think it looks comfortable? Because if it looks comfortable, maybe it's someone that's done it before. Natural or unnatural, the way the perp is acting in the video.
Yeah, a little bit, sort of off in that regard. He may have had some practice runs. Let's not forget, too, all the things they're looking for. I'm not sure if they sell flashlights that strictly are designed for the mouth, that you push the button, and you squeeze it somehow, and the light goes on. That's something else I'm hoping. There can't be too many people that buy those things within 100 miles of Tucson. So I'm hoping that is something they focus on. It could be a clue like that really helps.
There were some astute viewers who wrote in about that, what looks like a mouth flashlight of some kind.
It is.
Saying that you would have to remove from your mouth with your gloves. And there could be a transfer of, your saliva onto the exterior of your gloves. And those gloves then had to touch things in Nancy's home. So like, that's actually somewhat promising. this guy probably does have his own saliva remnants on those gloves and definitely used the gloved hands to go into the home and hurt Nancy and get Nancy. And I'm sure he touched something. Go ahead.
There's
Maureen.
one thing I wanted to say about that transfer, because that's a very good point. That is a mouth flashlight, and you turn it off and on by biting on it. A lot of apparently airline mechanics and stuff like that, or people that deal with wires and stuff, they'll use it so that their hands can remain free while they do their work. And
I did read something from on X saying that FBI said that they're looking into, you know, the height and all of that. Beautifully Broken says they will get his shoe size and how tall he is. It can do a lot. I still think it's a son-in-law. I could be wrong. The shub crap is weird. Why not bring tape or paint? Valerie says he's not that smart.
It's pretty much the same technology as those headlamp ones that you get. But with regard to the gloves, a lot of people always think that I'm wearing gloves, my DNA can't get anywhere, but everyone underestimates the number of times they touch their face, no matter what. Like, you know, I mean, just going like this, and now you touch something. So that's going to be the DNA stuff. And the way you find that sometimes, like even if we look at the, when they took Nancy's car out of the garage, it could have been something as simple as when they went back in there and they looked at they turned off the lights and they turned on their flashlights. I used flashlights extensively, and you could see that there's an area where the dust has been swiped away. That's an area you want to look at and you want to test. You're certainly not going to test the entire vehicle as a general rule, but if there's an area like that where the dust is disturbed, that's where it got swiped, and that's where the transfer potentially could have occurred.
Well, let me ask you, Will and James, what you think, because ran this by our other panelists yesterday. There's one photo in the series that's been released by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Patel that shows, we think, this same abductor farther back without the backpack. And you can't see his face at all. It's either because the camera is too pixelated, that's what we were speculating yesterday, or maybe he's turned it around entirely. But here's the shot. You cannot see any sort of a backpack whatsoever. I don't think you can see the gun. We zoomed in on it yesterday. And you cannot see the holes for the eyes or the mouth. And this too was released to us by the FBI. Now I can go with maybe pixelation too far away on the face mask, I guess, but no backpack. The backpack.
I initially thought it was two people too.
It was all this reflective stuff and the lights or whatever's on. Like, what do you think we're seeing there?
I mean, just jumping in there, James, if you don't mind. There's a couple of quick questions, Megan. Were you given actually unedited footage which ran continually, or are these just snapshots which were provided by the Bureau? So yes, again, they may not necessarily be consecutive. There may have been an initial probe. Sometimes they will make an initial approach to see, is there anybody else in the house? Is it undisturbed? You know, is there just one person there? It's quiet. Everyone's gone to bed. So, you know, he may have returned, or she may have returned, to go and get that backpack from their vehicle and then make that actual approach. So it could have been an initial probe. But the thing that, certainly before I pass to James, the thing that really confuses me, and I'm sure I'd love to hear the opinions of the others, is there are so many contradictions in this whole method of approach. He's using a torch which has to be activated by the mouth rather than a head torch. And it's not a question of him being necessarily seen by anybody with a head torch, because he's carrying his weapon obviously outside of his waistband. So, and again, the gloves, the mask, the ill-preparedness for actually removing the Ring doorbell. There are so many contradictions here, from what could have been professional to what's somewhat of a clown show and an amateur.
Yes, totally. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of this. I was looking at the picture to see if the shoes were the same, to make sure we've got, you know, the same person, and maybe not.
A lot of our online sleuths watching us on YouTube say the shoes look different to them. That the shoes from, you know, faceless man look different from the shoes.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say it looks very similar to the guy who we know approached the door.
Yeah, when we're doing like surveillance.
Someone said, I'm reading your guys' comments. Some people say someone else outside. Yeah. Someone said the family, he was beautifully said he was set up. It's someone within the family circle, and they are amateur, probably first time. Really? do we think Nancy's still alive?
Training. We're always taught, shoes, watches, and glasses. People don't usually change those. And so I always kind of look there first. And this person's shoes are different. So is it two people? I don't know. It might be the same person. They're wearing the same outfit. Could be two. The eye holes missing is odd. But I think I agree with Will. It's quite possible. This is the early. They came up, approached, see what they're dealing with. Then they come back with the backpack, and then they do this, silliness with the flowers to do the obfuscation of the camera. But for me, this looks like a probing in the beginning before the actual act.
International disputes, inflation, right?
Okay, so was he done talking? Yeah, he was. Okay, I have two more clips to play. Plunder just dropped something about the pinging location. So we'll go watch a little bit of that and see if it's
Were
anything.
also, this is video from right outside Nancy's house. They were in the yard, they were in the driveway, they were in the side yard, and then they came across the street to where the media.
Yeah, she dropped a video saying we've got confirmation the ping's coming from the vehicle. So it must have been related to the arrest or detainment of Carlos.
Has been set up, which is an area that I haven't seen them search before, and they were also searching there. Meanwhile, at Annie Guthrie's house, there was another.
I just don't feel like she's with us either. My aunt passed Jenny, her kids took her. He didn't give all her meds. She passed away. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Beautifully broken. Man, I pray for the best. I do. I pray for the best too. I unfortunately don't think she's still with us. It's been long without her meds. It's an amateur. Then that guy got to be sweating bullets. Nope, not without her meds.
Elizabeth. This is, of course, Savannah's sister, Nancy's other daughter. There were two men that showed up there this afternoon. One of them was wearing latex gloves. We believe they were law enforcement agents. They wouldn't say where they were from. They went inside, and then you can see them leaving here. One of them carrying a brown bag, the other one wearing the gloves. The one wearing the gloves, and you'll see
The
this.
reason I say I possibly don't think so, and it's my opinion only. I think because of the whole ransom thing, the games, the going back and forth. And if she was still alive, I think they would be a little more serious about that. Or no? The perps.
Second Elizabeth, he went over to the mailbox at Annie Guthrie's and he took the mail out. It was interesting he did that while he was wearing the gloves. Then they got into, and he's about to do that right there. Then they got into the gray SUV and they left, and it was sort of unexplained. There was a possibility maybe that's private security, but it was kind of peculiar that he was wearing the gloves, and it did look like a law enforcement vehicle. I spoke to the former undersheriff here in Pima County. He worked for the sheriff's office for more than 40 years, just retired, to hear what he had to say about everything going on. Also some concerns he has about the way the current sheriff is handling the investigation. Listen to this, Elizabeth.
Is it true that the homicide team is inexperienced?
Oh, we saw this.
True.
We saw
They're
this a
less
little bit earlier. This
experienced
is just a 2-minute clip from the clip we saw earlier.
Previous homicide details, but a lot of folks have retired, myself included.
I mean, how inexperienced?
There, to my understanding, there's a number.
My point exactly. They wanted $6 million in Bitcoin. They would have given proof of life and continued to send these real, legitimate ransom
of them that have only been in their positions a couple of years, and that is not enough experience to deal with this type of a crime.
Could it have maybe been a thing of, hey, they were just trying to rob her or get money out of it? Maybe they didn't mean to unalive her. And yes, she could have had a heart attack. You're right, beautifully broken, maybe even still in the house. We don't know. Just the shock and stress of being kidnapped is such a danger to her. I agree, Debbie.
To abduct an elderly person and demand money is I can't recall in 46 years of law enforcement service a case like that ever occurring.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And that's troubling.
And it's not just him, Elizabeth. We've heard from other people affiliated with the department that they're concerned about the inexperience of the homicide detectives and concerned that the sheriff didn't bring the FBI in immediately or in day 1 or day 2 because they feel maybe those photos that were released yesterday would have come out even sooner if the sheriff made the call to bring the FBI in sooner. Elizabeth?
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
Okay, let's watch this clip by Plunder to see what she figured out because she's great. Love her. She's always so kind about using her content.
¿Cómo quieres que reaccione cuando algo pasa así? Pero yo no sé qué está pasando. Me agarraron como si fuera un criminal, me secuestraron. They helped me against my will.
He's saying in Spanish, like, they treated me like I was a criminal before even, like, verifying that I was, et cetera, in Spanish.
Read me my rights until 2 hours later. Okay? You know what I mean?
Read me my rights until 2 hours later? Where's the lawyer?
My wrist is all fucking swollen. From the handcuffs.
Where the lawyer at?
And did you have any idea that this was about him? Do you know who Nancy Guthrie
No.
is?
That's the problem. No, I don't know anything.
You were like, where is this coming from?
How did they come up on you?
I don't know.
Like, what, were you just driving around?
Yeah, working.
Yeah, you said you were delivering DoorDash?
Yeah, this.
Oh.
How'd they pull up on you? Like,
Nah, I pulled up with them. They were following me. Yeah, they were following me. Miranda. This is Santa Cruz County, and Miranda was down.
Oh, wow. He's saying that they didn't pull him over. He pulled up on them because they were following him.
Here. It's like, come on, 2 and 2.
and so then when they came up on you, what did they say? Like, what did they say?
Nothing. Literally nothing. They just told me, stop moving. Like, what's your name? Carlos. That's it. They put me in the cop car. You gotta wait like 2 hours. I waited like 2 hours until the detectives came.
Good night, beautifully. Thank you for being here. Yes, this is the guy who got detained and then released.
Yeah, and everything.
Oh my God.
And when they finally told you this had to do with some kidnapping, like what were you thinking?
What the fuck am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, like, I'm innocent.
And you don't even know who the lady is? Do you know who Savannah Guthrie is?
No. I don't follow the news.
Right.
I feel like this is genuine.
You don't watch the Today Show?
Like, I don't know who that lady
So
is.
this was a complete shock.
It was.
Wow.
What kind of questions were they asking you?
Nothing. They didn't ask me any questions.
I think Carlos got himself a good payday here.
So they just said
nothing. They just sent me in the car. They investigated my car and this van, and that's it. They didn't ask me no questions, no nothing.
Did you get the other car back? Or they still have it?
No, it's right there.
Oh, they gave it back to you. So
Yeah, it's like.
and they said you can go home.
Yeah.
And how did they treat like the people you were with, your girl, your child?
I don't want to speak about that. You know what I mean?
How's your family? They
Well, they're
scared
all in
everybody. I was gonna say they scared everybody, huh?
Yeah, they're all in shock right now.
Wow.
Did they damage the house? Yeah.
What did he do to the house?
Broke the doors. What else? The garage door in the back.
Unlawful detainment? Harassment? Distress for the family?
So what are you gonna do now?
I don't try to clear my name. I didn't do anything. I hope they get the suspect. Because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name.
So they can clear my name.
I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on
Not just
national
them.
news now.
Not just them. Even my parents in Tucson. Yeah.
And your mother-in-law was worried about you. She was saying it doesn't look anything like it.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm telling you guys. What the fuck?
Why do you think they came here? Why do you think they came to you?
If I would have known that answer, I would have given it to you, but I don't.
So you have no idea what led them to you? Nothing. They didn't say car.
When he's speaking in Spanish, he's just basically saying, like, no, they got me effed up. Like, that wasn't me.
License, nothing.
Nada.
Carlos,
He's like nothing.
Soy bilingüe.
Carlos, ¿nos puedes platicar en español para Telemundo Arizona qué fue lo que sucedió?
Me estaban acusando de secuestro, algo que yo no.
The reporter asked him, can you please tell us exactly in Spanish what exactly is going on? And he's saying, I'm being accused of kidnapping.
Dice, y me,
Oh, and the family member just told him, don't talk anymore.
Okay.
So they're probably realizing, like, hey.
Danos una declaración en español, por favor. Una declaración en español.
Por favor, a ver. What's your last name, Carlos?
Are you going to sue them? Are you going to sue them?
That's JLR in the background. Are you going to sue them? Are you going to sue them?
Also have personnel and FIU.
Oh, this is Nancy Guthrie, man. We got the confirmation the ping's coming from that vehicle. Whoa. Okay, let's listen to this.
Switch your radios to unencrypted. Stay vague. We need to keep this patch.
Rodisco can't get out from where he's at. Survey, do you copy? 10-4, thank you. EJ saying that the adult male is getting to the passenger seat of the car. He just shut the hood. Yeah, go ahead. Alright. Let me know with PID. He's saying he couldn't get it, but they're leaving. Heading towards the front road. He needs to take that away. Survey code 10. I'm going southbound on the front road. Copy, code 10. In and out. D&D copy. Survey. Okay. And confirming that was the Nissan Murano, the white Nissan Murano.
Yeah, 10-4. I don't know if it went south or north, but it probably went north.
Toronto said it went south.
Survey, code 10. And survey, can you copy us?
Honda can copy now.
Survey, can you copy us?
Honda can copy now. I'm just going to get back in now. They're probably going to go mobile. Hey, Kenny, code 10? Hey, Sarge, we're code 10 on the FBI radio. He's following the car right now.
And survey, can you hear us now?
Honda can hear you.
All right. Having radio issues. They were on Avenida 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆. Now they're on Avenida Leon heading westbound. Still on Avenida Leon, approaching Clover Street. On Wrighton Street, eastbound. Approaching Avenida Grande.
Survey, you copy me?
Survey, I have you, yes.
I stay with that vehicle. We got confirmation the ping's coming from that vehicle right now.
Good copy. I have it, and my radio's not working.
What's their location right now?
Right now, they are at what looks to be
Plunder, True Crime Audio.
Wrighton Street, but they are backing out, set up to go westbound on Wrighton.
Say again, the street?
Wrighton Street, between Avenida Leon. Southbound Avenida Leon.
Survey, did you turn your encryption off?
Yes, it is off.
All right, can you 10-9 the address that that vehicle landed at, please?
Plunder, True Crime Audio.
Wrighton Street. It has what looks to be pool heater black coils on the roof.
What's the address?
Plunder, True Crime Audio.
Wrighton Street.
Okay,
and it looked like there was a white box or something white that was square in shape that they took in there. And now they are eastbound on Avenida 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆. Rogers Control 457, all clear, all secure.
10-4. So let's step back up and try to get PID.
Eastbound on Pendleton Drive on Avenida 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆. Goes past Willow. Pendleton curves and is now heading northbound on Pendleton after the curve. Still northbound Pendleton. In front of the vehicle looks to be a dark green, possibly a Mazda Miata.
Hey, Hanover, you code 10?
3228 for expiration. Go ahead. Zebra Tom Adam 3, Edward Zebra.
All right, just find a spot to pull over and be ready for a takeaway. Yeah, we're like 50 yards north of you.
Eastbound on Rio Rico Drive from Pendleton. So like we're coming up to the train tracks at Rio Rico Drive. Passenger window is open and the male subject's hand is out the window. Still on Rio Rico Drive. Looks like they're going to take it approaching I-19. Still Rio Rico Drive approaching I-19. And still behind that, what looks to be a 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗵𝗶. And they are over I-19. And they are northbound frontage on the west side of I-19.
I don't think so, EJ. What do you got?
Well, I was just checking in case you guys can't catch up so they can do the stop.
Frontage Road approaching 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗵𝗶.
If it gets back, let it land, and we'll just continue with the same plan.
Still northbound frontage approaching Camino 𝗮𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Hey, survey, is it past, like it's going back to the original LOI?
Yeah, 10-4. It looks like it's heading that direction.
It's on the west side of I-19, correct?
And it's still northbound frontage, passing Camino del Plata. And approaching Camino Hombre del Oro. Still northbound, about to pass Calle Pinzón. There's a black SUV in front of it. And almost to the Camino Augusto address.
Easy 12.
Go ahead.
Yeah, with Victor 7 Adam 7 Charles William River and First northbound in the westbound turn lanes, stolen vehicle.
And it's going to make a turn on the Camino Augusto. And it is parked back at the target location.
Copy that. And survey, can you describe what they dropped off at the right SIN address, please?
It looked like a square package of some kind. I couldn't tell exactly what it was, but it was light in color. Maybe a 1.5 by 1.5 as she was holding it.
Copy, thank you.
And they are bringing the SUV inside the gate now.
At 43, we've got the van team parked at the fire station.
Can I put that right SIN address in the
say again?
2.
Vehicle patrol 1024 zones 1 through 5 and 7 are code 4.
1648.
Hey, survey.
Survey, go ahead.
Okay, we want to try to switch to direct for car to car and get everyone on the same page.
All right, I'll try to switch the car to car right now. The one that you texted me?
Yeah, it's important. So let's switch over. We'll do a radio check. That goes for everybody. And we'll get accountability.
SWAT Commander, I copy. You're switching car to car.
All right, Janae, can you start out BLS transport?
That's affirmative. We'll march on scene. Start BLS.
Is anybody still on fugitive? Dispatch message is en route.
Copy message 888 en route for Laurel Road and North Stone Avenue.
Set 703. 10-8.
Set 703 657.
807.
807.
Contact referencing violation corridor. Keep me on the screen for that. I'll be 76 to keep the peace. Acting on the driver's seat.
What did you say?
R23, go ahead.
Copy expiration.
Copy, thank you.
10-3.
Box 66.
Box 66.
Units responding to code 151031. The 3 closest units, you guys 45 at Martel and Adito. Figure out 2 to go to the front and 1 to go south on Tuttle. Access an alley that will lead you to the back.
It's going to be 2 weeks soon.
Backyard of that.
She's been
there's 3
missing.
of you on scene. You guys can probably move in. The rest of us will fill in as we can. 754 out 1060. I can handle Tuttle. 754. While you're waiting for the other units, you want to go the 1017 back and see if she has any more 43 on if they actually enter the property or not. 10-4 radio, you can advise them to give her a 21.
Hey, Joe, were you able to get all the time?
Yeah, we're like 50 yards north of you. Eastbound on Rio Rico Drive from Pendleton.
1041.
10-8, Unit 98, 1076, 205, 83, 881, apartment 1105. Hey, Mendoza. 603, code 4.
1791.
Yeah, you got the email right. Just in case family does show up, we have to verify what command staff. Yeah, as far as anyone that's family and or other law enforcement agencies.
Copy. I don't know what any of them look like, so we're gonna have to check everybody.
Yeah, I'll just have them 1012 and then call Enderley or Holgate. And they can verify. They should have a list.
Is any of them here?
It sounds like it's just a 1081, just because they don't know if, like, for sure or not his phones were in there.
I agree, Nikki. Something just ain't right with this. It's odd. And yes, Green Knight, I feel like we aren't living real life right now with the files on this. I feel like that over too. Very overwhelmed.
They were for sure not like his phones from before, but so they're worried about that defense. She did one of the phones. There was 2 phones. One was unlocked, and she went through it since it was abandoned.
You guys inside, copy. Come out the back when you're done in there.
Copy.
Oh shit, should be locked, so I'm trying to see where the keys are. Copy, thank you.
Yeah, under last week during a beer skip, and one of them shockingly at Santana Zealous. So go figure.
The big dog. Yeah, rolling forensics, PSI, and CSOs in this room.
Ask for the CSOs from the other divisions. Tell them they can 45 is at the mom's address.
Now 62, protocol, there's nothing familiar to them, no family or friends, or nothing that they will recognize the word being heading to.
Okay, so Bobby just ask if they'll launch for us.
Fast forward. I want to hear.
Was for Alice.
We're checking the 1060 of just to make sure.
All right, copy. I'm going to send another detective out to canvass the area and look for any semi-stage somewhere. If you guys...
Careful, copy. The pull-off areas around West Los Reales were checked and negative semis noted. No trucks of any type parked. But again, we checked 1060 of. Also, the elementary school here, we checked there in the parking lot. It does have much like possible kind of teacher activity where they have some events going on. Also, it's going to be a 3-car garage. There's plants and like pottery in front of the smaller garage, and looks to be a possible recording device on the front entryway.
Hey, what was that school that you guys are 1062? Do you know the name of it?
Yeah, it's going to be the 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆 Elementary School.
Yeah, they already know. As long as they don't go on to the actual property, they can stay on the road.
Woe unto them that call Eva. Oh, it's one of her quotes. You guys can listen to the rest of that over at Plunder. I just wanted to see what was involved with that. That video is so creepy. It is. I just checked. There's no recent updates as of Nancy since we've been live, other than what we've already gone through. So, we'll be back with Nancy, I guess, if something happens like tonight. I'll be live after this, but not with Nancy stuff unless something prominent comes up. We don't touch back on Nancy tonight. We will definitely do something on it tomorrow. If nothing happens, I mean, I don't know what we're waiting for. I guess a body, more ransom notes. This case has me feeling very, very, very different type of way. I hope that Nancy is found alive and well, but I don't know if it's looking too good with the investigation and arresting Carlos when maybe Carlos wasn't supposed to be, and the whole ransom thing. It's too much. It's too much going on. But please hit that like button. We are being censored here because I have been covering the Epstein files, which I do have a way to fix that, I think. So I'm going to go live and do a vertical hangout in just a little bit. So I hope you guys can make it there. We can talk, catch up. I did have a live scheduled for Jody tonight, but I don't know that I want to read all of that tonight. So maybe we'll do trial, but nonetheless, turn on your notifications. I will be back. It is a wild time to be alive. Yeah, 1 Bitcoin or else. Hey, 1 Bitcoin is like $66,000. So if anyone wants to give me that, I'll take it. Yeah, I hope Nancy's found. We're going on day 12. 12 tomorrow. Or wait, yeah, 12 days tomorrow. I would like to see a video of her proof she's still alive. Yeah, I think that's why they maybe haven't paid. Right? Or maybe they know it's fake. I don't know. I don't know. What medication was she on? I think blood pressure. Don't knock me. This is just my opinion only. We're just sharing thoughts here. The information is very public where we've been getting it. But Nikki, to answer your question, I thought it was blood pressure and heart medication. Not sure. But she had a pacemaker, so I don't know. I hope Nancy's okay, but like I said, I'll keep you guys updated whether it's a video, a short, or a live. We'll be back to talk Nancy Guthrie case. Cardiac meds. They speculate maybe blood thinner. Ooh. I don't know. Fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Please hit that like button on your way out. I will see you guys on the next live. Like I said, we'll be back with Nancy Guthrie updates as soon as there are more. So shout out to you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. Like I said, please hit the like button on the way out, and shout out to the replay viewers as well. I'll catch you guys on the next one.